our campaign entitled Gold, Green, and Red. Up front, this is a dark fantasy campaign where the world is violent and evil, both powerful and determined. All episodes and all content may not be appropriate for younger viewers, although the most heinous behaviors of our antagonists and occasionally our protagonists will occur off-screen or simply be alluded to. War is a really horrible thing, and this is at its heart, Campaign 1 is a war story. Many of the themes and even some of the particular scenarios come from my own life experience as a hospital corpsman, a combat medic, for those of you who don't know that term, who served in Iraq from 2003 to 2004. This setting, simply called Terra, has a wealth, some would say a deluge, of specific culture, vocabulary, and game mechanics. We'll do our best to incorporate this richness in while still keeping the narrative streamlined and accessible. And that will be up to all of us, particularly my players who have played in this setting before, where we're attempting to share this with the world writ large. Our wonderful assistant producer, Tobias, will be collecting questions throughout most of the stream. And if there is sufficient interested, myself and at least one other player, perhaps several, who are trapped with me as my ride after the game. Sorry, Randy. We will all stay after, and after we've concluded the session proper, we will answer any questions that that Toby managed to collect. And after a brief conversation around the table, we decided that it would be best to simply jump in. I will say before we get to the narrative that about 10 minutes ago, my players and my dad surprised myself and these two lovely ladies with flowers, and you all are trying to kill me already. You're trying to get me. There'll be plenty. I promise you will get me many times before this campaign is over. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the side with y'all. There you go, Nika. We're flower buddies.
Flower buddies.
Nice.
And
my flowers are in the mail.
Sorry, man.
If you will light the candle, my dear, we will. That signifies that we are now in a different time and a different place. Certainly a different place. Time. Anyway, I'll contain my musings on the multiverse for now. And we're going to pick up. We have had extensive prologuing, what I call prologuing. My background in, for those of you who know, Vampire the Masquerade, it's the whole thing. For those of you who have only done 5th edition D&D, think of prologuing as like extensive, like a series of played through extensive session zeros. And some of the players have only had one, but know me very well and have been playing with me for years or decades. And some this is their first experience, and so we've had quite a run. But at this point, the fellowship has arrived at the usually uninspiring and strategically unimportant village of Pollux, and that's where we cut into the campaign, and we're just going to pick up a little bit after we left off. Donnie, I'm going to make a few decisions or a few assumptions about how you handled yourself as you came into this foreign territory. Your character's a competent war leader, so he's not going to do anything crazy, but there are some legalities, academically, and for sure, politically, that to cross the Pomerium, to cross the sacred boundary of the civilization, even as small as a village, is potentially an act of war. So right now, your men, of which you have a decury, of which you have 10, are hanging off basically Pulex is when I say a village, it's got a whopping total of 89 people in it. So think of you could cover most of it in a football field. So your men can still see you. Sergeant Amelius isn't thrilled at leaving his lord exposed, but as a patrician, you're allowed to have your retinue with you, and nobody can challenge that. You are the ranking person, even though you're away from your center of power. You are the ranking person here. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Status. We'll go into a lot more than that in the campaign, but status is a very important facet of this. In fact, so important that there is a statistic for it called dignitas, which we'll explain later. It's basically the personal honor and prestige of that patrician, of that nobleman or noblewoman. Okay, so that. I doubt your character is happy at that, but you understand the legalities of that. I'm going to get to how you are coming back to the scene of the crime, essentially, for your character. And we'll talk about that in just a second. I just kind of want to set the scene. Katrin, you are... in character, Titus. Katrin, you are where? Well, he's coming in. You're part of his retinue.
Probably just behind him.
Okay. All right. No violence. No violence yet, so we don't need to put down exactly where, but in general, you're going to be dead behind him. Do you want to be off to the side for a shot if you have to? How do you want to handle this? Because this isn't your first rodeo with Titus.
Slightly off to the side.
Okay.
But covered enough to where if I were to get attacked, I would dart back.
Okay.
Use him as my shield.
You're pretty good at that.
Yeah,
you're
kind of the standard.
I'm small.
You're pretty good at that. Wesa, where are you hanging out? Are you prowling around? Are you going open? What are you doing?
To start, I'm in more of the back.
Okay.
I have a bigger view of everybody.
That tracks.
Just to understand too how we go about these kinds of things.
That's true. This is literally and politically new territory for you. Okay, I'll get to you in a second. And right, so you enter, and I'm going to tell this largely from Merrick's perspective for right now. You enter, you are still aware, you're too well trained and too disciplined to completely fall apart. And you're not 18 winters now, you're 48 winters. You are at the very end of your prime, of your fighting prime for a Kithki. Think militarized hobbits. And of course, you can feel the old power pulsing through you, making you mightier than almost any of your kin. Not all, but almost any in Charmentum. And that is comfort, because the last time that you were here, of course, you were largely helpless.
Yeah.
You see the smoke, and you can only endure and fight back in the small ways that a slave can. And you did. And it's a testament to your wit and your will and your just dead perseverance of, I have to get home, that you made it back, and you know who didn't make it back, or who never made it out. So as you're coming in from the north, you see y'all are largely following the Kogi, and you're coming down north. Remember, it's been 2 days of not hard travel, but steady travel. Your shoulders, your traps are still barking at you.
They're so sore, guys.
Yeah, they're still barking at you. You found that the training that you've been undergoing with your mentor serves you in good stead. So you're ready to go. Your feet are a little sore, but you could do another 2 days if you needed to, just fine out here. So you're coming, obviously to you guys, this is old hat. You've been on patrol since you were 13. So yeah, you largely had the Kogi River. You're keeping that to your left, just to kind of orient the viewers at home. You're keeping that to your left, which is east. You're headed south. You have hit and you've gone through the bogs that you needed to.
And same path I knew, yeah.
And with your, since this happened off camera, just to kind of remind everybody that you saw Merrick for most of that trip in his element, and he led you unerringly through the dangers of the, not so much the forest, you could have done that yourself most likely, but the bog can be a treacherous place.
Could I have had opportunity to talk to them about the local creatures, both the Harpesia and just the whereabouts and what time of season this is, and is it mating season for them?
You know, that's a good point, Corey. Since we kind of hopped forward a bit, the answer to that is yes. And let me give y'all a day, finally. Sorry I was late on this. So we are 5 days before the Ides, for the 15th day. 5 days before the Ides of Taway, which in our world would be equivalent of March. This winter has persisted. It hasn't been a particularly bitter winter, but it's been a hard winter. And so, for example, Wesa, by the lights of your people, Tezcatli, the Dread Mother, has been stingy in releasing her grasp, and doesn't want to turn it over to the Lord of the Dawnstar. But inevitably, it's now it's happening, and you're soon. Awakening is soon. Probably already prepping for that. A tale for another time, but soon. All right. Yeah, go ahead. And I'm going to say that this. When did this conversation occur?
It would have been as we were approaching the bog. I think I would have during that time, or maybe at camp. Probably
camp before.
Okay, camp. So when you get out of the forest, and you're in the outskirts of the bog. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Everybody, so obviously, are not there yet. Everybody cool with that? As far as going back a day. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are literally two kinds of creatures that are known for the area. Merrick explains. There is the Parisia, which are small little monkeys, but they have an intelligence that is very cunning. They like to steal things, snatch things, and they use rocks and throw them at you. It can be quite annoying.
Very much.
Then there's also, what's even worse, is these large, huge harpy-like eagles called Harpesias. These things have claws as big as a human's fingers, and literally, with their own claws, they could pick up a dog and fly off with them. Very dangerous. They could take out a human. They tend not to interfere with us except for during their mating season when they're very, very aggressive. And so, if you see in the sky, Merrick looks around, or hear certain sounds, they may be them. So just be aware of at least those two. And then finally, the Bazaret. They are very large, porcupine-like rat creatures that have been bastardly trained and forcefully trained in some sort of maniacal ways. They have been trained to detect human flesh and smell it, and to attack it and to chase it, as well as Kithki. And they were the ones that were able to eventually track me down when I was such a young man, young Kithki. They can smell quite a bit. However, during the winter, especially the late winter, during certain times, the snow tends to stop them from smelling very well. It throws off the scent. And that was the time I was able to escape. After almost 2 years.
Thank you for explaining that, Merrick. And I also want to reiterate, wasting and catching this is not Jedimension. Keep your eyes on your head.
The people don't like who run the city, at least back when I was there. They were very much against and did not like the magistrate and his family, Sextus and Sextus Minor at the time. Think of them as individuals with the most atrocities that they could think of being done to humans. They treat slaves like they are literally rats or roaches.
Worse than bath rats.
And they delve in the trade quite a bit. And they like unique types of slaves.
A light, chilling mist of a rain attempts to dampen your spirits and does dampen the area around you as you're explaining this. There's little little sounds coming from the campfire. You see your myrmidons patrolling you as this conversation's going on.
Just so you're aware, Sectus the Elder is probably long gone. He was already on his last legs. His son wanted to kill him in the first place. But the younger, Sectus Galabrio, the minor, it's strange how he has some sharings of your name. The Elder was from Leptis region. And he would be about... How old was the kid? 16?
He was 13.
You don't know exactly how old, but he hadn't hit age of majority yet, which in this world is 16 winters, because people die so early.
Maybe in his early 40 winters at this point. And to say the least, the man has... How should I put it?
Taste for cruelty?
Way more than taste. He... Take it to the extreme. He will punish others for your actions. He will literally just manipulate things to punish. He thrives off of it. He thrills off of it. It's like a pleasure. It's a sickening. It's a mental illness.
We have to remember we're here to help the people. There's been raids, and those are things that we're here to discuss. We're not here for war.
Domini, to that point, are we respecting... So this is the Second Sergeant Emilius. He's, of course, said to be the best sword in Germentum. He says, excuse me, sire, are we respecting their pomerium?
Yes. Even though they do not respect everything about what we do, we have to respect the tradition.
Understood. And just disseminates amongst the rest of the Decurate. Keep going.
There were two that were from Leptis. One was a young daughter, a bride to the elder named Claudius. She still may be alive. She and her cousin, his name was Titus.
Guys.
He fell. He was trying to save her and run north to Germentum. He knew that I was from there. We had plans to go the winter before. The first year I was there. I was there for 2 long winters. And he was publicly sacrificed after attempting bravely to slit the throat of Sectus Elder. He did actually plunge the dagger into his near his heart, but unfortunately, Pulex, Sectus's Elder's right-hand man, the axeman of the city here. I don't think he's alive anymore. It's hard to tell. Maybe at a very old age. But he destroyed him, Claudius. I mean, Titus. But this is very hard for me. I don't know who's alive anymore.
Hopefully our shared enemy would have done something about them.
I don't know if she's alive anymore.
This is the first time you're coming back.
Yes.
Sorry.
I don't know if she's alive anymore. I don't know. What we went through.
I'm sorry, Merrick.
Merrick, can I offer you a pie? Hand pie.
Say it again.
Can I offer you a hand pie? Reach out.
Thank you. Is my stomach won't be empty.
What flavor?
Meat.
What's that? Mean?
Arpo meat.
Oh, Arpo meat?
She said meat.
Gotcha.
The way to a Kithki's heart through the stomach.
You taste the expertly spiced pie with the signature nutmeg inside of it.
Thank you, Esa.
My pleasure.
I don't know what this town is made of now. What I do know is politically, Titus, even though I want to kill him so bad. You have no idea.
Corey, are you calling him Titus in front of the men?
Domini.
You have to, let's decide this now.
Dominate.
Okay, all right, so try that again.
Dominate.
Sorry for the audience, this is old LARP habit, crossed fingers when you're speaking out of character. I'll probably just do that. I'll probably just keep doing that. Anyway, go ahead.
He deserves nothing but the worst you can think of. For what he's done to every human he has enslaved, for the villagers he suppressed, for the pretending to be... I have to be careful what I say, but let's say he spoke of things that only patricians should be saying.
I remember you telling me. That being said, they are a satellite of Leptis Regium, and I'm not willing to go to war. We're here for help and aid. Probably good people in the city as well.
Yes.
I will not risk war with Jared mentioned with Leptis Regium.
Do not stir the hornet's nest, as you say, so...
Thank you, Merrick.
I will scout ahead, as always. You know the arrow call.
Okay, so that continues. The monkey creatures are Paija, P-A-I-J-A or G-A, depending on what culture. Some of us are already well aware of their shenanigans. Fast food, that was roughly halfway, maybe a little closer to it, before you hit the bog, but roughly halfway. And as you approach on the dawn probably of the third day, yeah, because you said when you set out, dawn of the third day, you can clearly see smoke rising from the southeast of the village, which looks like some of the most densely populated areas, densely built up areas, such as there is here, right? Pollux does mean flee, after all, in Old Speak. So this is not a booming metropolis. To put this into perspective, they take up a little bit more room per person, but this is roughly 1/40th of Germentum size. Having said that, you do see the fields. You do see some sheep. Although actually at this point, the sheep are cowering or have fled. You see sheep carcasses, and for your eyes, for sure, probably your eyes as well. You actually once, I think you've seen Utini. Well, you've fought them, but you actually haven't seen their handiwork because you got there quickly enough. Mm-hmm. So the two of you haven't seen the Utini's handiwork, but you know that this fearsome tribe, large, aggressive, persistent tribe of not men, and yet they walk on two legs and they use techne, they have intelligence, they use weapons. There's debate about how intelligent they are. If they're just animals running around on legs who have tool use, or if they're cunning. Of course, you know the answer to that. But your
eye knows the answer to that.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. We'll get to that. But he's got a bit of an eye problem, bit of trauma-induced heterochromia.
Character development.
So bit of character. There you go. Character development. It's the scars that make us, baby. It's the scars that make us. Yeah. Why don't the two of you make either an investigation or survival roll as you're looking?
I do have a question. Is this black?
What's that?
Is the smoke black? Grayish.
It is. Ooh, Donnie, that's really good.
Come on.
It is on the wane. It's grayish. Good call.
Yeah.
And there's no one in the fields right now.
Not that you see.
Yeah.
No.
And normally there would be.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're all too familiar with the rhythm of Pollux and the press that the magistrate wants to squeeze everything he possibly can.
And I'm still scouting ahead. Yes. Where are we together here?
No. You've come together. You're not going to wander around there by yourself when there could be some Utini horde, awaiting you.
Yeah.
Domine, there's a problem.
I understand we have to respect the tradition.
No, the fields are empty. They're never empty at this time of day. The smoke.
Go ahead.
Well, we know about the roll. We know about...
Crit. Oh, 23. First roll.
First roll. That's a good portent, my dear.
She did not do very well. 7 total.
She's very tired from our...
She's very tired.
No, you are.
Backpack was heavy.
No, you're legit tired.
Your whopping strength.
Yeah.
You've had to
Negative.
you've had to reattach the old man's backpack onto yourself, and it's just started the pain process all over again. Because remember, it was on the mule for a good ways.
Every time we were walking by Catherine, though, and I see her, I would lift it up, like just not while it's like on her back.
Okay, that's very sweet.
I'm just kind of like, Rashid's just like, oh, it got easier,
He's just laughing at me the whole time. What the hell?
Magic.
So what right now you're trying to do two things. You're managing the pain, and you are trying to. I can tell you this from personal experience. You are just blocking out everything that isn't relevant and you're almost like a velociraptor where you're just looking for motion, you're looking for any hint of violence directed your way, and you're not worried about the nuance, which is unusual for your character. I will say you are self-aware enough that you understand that you have greatly cut down your processing so that you can keep combat ready. Yeah. Take that for what you will. Yeah. For you, I'm gonna decide something later on. I like to, because that's such a nice crit. So you're looking, and you, in your mind's eye ways that you can just about see how these wounds were made. Because remember, even though you're in the business of baking, you are no stranger to slaughter, and there's all sorts of commerce going on that little corner of the little seedy underbelly of Germentum, such as it is. So you've seen there's a tannery there. So yeah, I mean you've seen the slaughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you would have to have basically an intuitive leap, where you've seen wild boars before, and you're imagining something powerful like that, getting the tusk into these sheep and disemboweling them. But what boars don't do is systematically pry open the chest cavity and remove the heart. So you're passing these sheep, and sometimes there'll be some hindquarters that have been nibbled on, or something, not nibbled, that have been savaged. But you're not, the Utini are not dainty eaters. But you've got, but you're seeing a clear pattern. It'd be easy to miss in the viscera. But you're seeing this clear pattern of the chest cavity getting cracked open and the heart taken out. So maybe it's considered a delicacy. You're not sure yet. It might have even religious significance. You don't know yet. You don't know enough about these creatures. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and actually make a note that the next time you do some sort of Utini check, that you do it with advantage. And if this is a running theme, I might even give you some kind of pseudo Utini whisperer, trait, because your character does do some weird stuff.
Totally.
The last thing I'll say, because your passive insight is absurd, 22, guys, for those that count these sorts of things. And because of what you are, custom class for those that count these things, you catch a whiff, literally, of something that none of your companions do. There is an incandescent rage attached to each of these animal carcasses that is well beyond anything that a human, other than just in the grips of extreme passion, would be hitting. I mean, we're talking like, you know, the betrayal of somebody, of a beloved, the injury of a child, that sort of thing. I mean, the humans are capable of that, but they don't live there generally. And the ones who, you know, you don't spend much time around the ones who do. But this is just a burning rage that has a harsh, acrid scent in your nose. And you're pretty sure you would know this. You can smell it. You'll pick this up again if you care to tune in to that.
I notice them kind of off or...
I mean, you notice the bodies. You see her doing something, kind of having a moment where you've been around Wesa now for several winters, off and on, and she has started training with you now. And that's been going on for how long? When did bad GM? Yeah, I think about... Yeah, I guess, yeah, a few moons, probably. A few moons. Months are perfect. Months are perfect 30 days. And then there's a weird thing that happens at the end of the year.
You saw something? Yeah.
It's hard not to notice the rage, the brutality. I hope to channel it in the right way. It's a lot to take in. Do you recognize this?
Look at the carcasses.
I mean, they're heart harvesting. They're doing their thing.
And I now know they're Utini.
Yeah, it's Utini for sure. And they're also, whenever they can, even though they have weapons that are more effective at mayhem, they like to, the finishing blow, they like to tusk, if at all possible.
This is the work of the Utini. They were perfecting and advancing the last we saw. What have they gotten even further?
A lot has changed, but not their cruelty. The smoke in the distance was a darker usual, so we might be seeing some pious burnt bodies. I don't know if they'd be Utini or human, but be prepared.
I shudder.
Okay. Ups.
What?
Look, over there. And
Crack the curtain just a bit, just to look out.
You look out. You see poor Nibs, who's been decaying out on the open. You can feel Tullius behind you, still wanting to go out there, but you've reasoned. Your reason was too strong to break, and the exigencies of the situation too extreme. It's an oxymoron. Exigencies are extremes, but anyway. So, yeah, you're looking out, and you see. I mean, you know this land very well. You don't have to make a perception roll or anything like that. You see a group of humans, not these thick-bodied, coarse-skinned, snouted beings that have completely upended your world and essentially sieged you for the last 3 days, sieged the village for the last 3 days. And the other players can discover why you're still alive as that unfolds. Mm-hmm. But you're watching them come, you see them, you're still too far. There's still no way, Randy, to alert them without also alerting what's going on over at the manor.
Gotcha.
But you're weighing. I know you as a player, so I know your character's already weighing the distance where he can project his voice out to catch their attention without raising the alarm over at the manor.
How far away are they?
Probably half a football field.
Half a football field.
No.
Are they moving towards us?
They are. So you're off to the west, the western edge of the village. They made a slight detour toward the river, and then it looks like they're moving kind of generally toward the manor. Mm-hmm. Important. You don't see your good friends there. This is the first day that you've looked out, and perhaps the Lord of Light has answered all of your fervent prayers, because you don't see them. And as you think about it, the last time that you heard their infernal howling was deep into the night, but before the pre-dawn glim. Go out, Dobbs.
You think? How many are there?
4? Yeah, 4
Don't
currently.
let Emilio stay back.
Plus the other 10.
You actually on that make a perception roll. Because of the angle you're looking at, you may or may not see them.
Yeah. Oh, I mean 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, you're way too absorbed with what's going on. Go ahead and roll for your wife, Alba. Because she is alert and participating.
Well, she got an 8 as a roll. I'm
8,
not sure
okay.
what her wisdom
Yeah.
is.
Sorry. Are you 8 total?
8 total for me. 8 was a natural
right,
roll for her.
Right. Yeah, that was the base roll.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you know that we're at the table. We're giving total rolls, like complete rolls.
Right. It was 8 total for me.
Got it.
Yes.
No, got it. I just want to make sure that you were up on that piece of culture. Okay. Because I used to run it differently. Yeah. So because they're out in the open. They're not trying to hide.
Gotcha.
So she. Look over there. And she's having to like basically put her cheek up against the slats and kind of like peer over. Another group there is.
Oi. Stay here and watch the children. Civilius,
Yep.
come with.
Roy.
I pick up a couple stones from the ground. Not big ones, not thick ones. Just enough that I can possibly toss in. Clack, clack, clack.
Your brother-in-law, Quintus, also pops up. You want me to come too, Marcus? He's a lot scrawnier than your brother.
Stay here for NASA. Keep it on the door. If anything happens.
I won't argue that.
And then
I already asked once.
I'll appreciate it. My
Your sister looks at him, kind of glares at him, and
our own road is to hoe.
and you hear her make some on-brand remark to him about may as well toss you out there then, but you go out with your hulking brother.
Yeah.
And
quietly along the sides of the house.
okay, I assume you have your club.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
only
And you
weapon
have the stones.
Yeah.
The only weapon you have. Yeah.
Well, we have a shovel. He's not really a weapon yet.
Yeah. Book, book. One of the chickens has taken this opportunity to escape, to find, and she managed to get her head through and get the rest of her body. So
You don't like chicken hearts?
They're too small.
chicken feet, it's a whole different thing.
I'm gonna gently reach down and grab the chicken. I'm not making any sudden moves. It knows me, so I'm gonna stroke it. And then grab it by its neck and just hold on to
Okay.
it. Yeah, not gonna scare it. And then hold on.
Are you trying to be gentle with the chicken?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna kill it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wring the neck up.
No.
You know what? Make an animal handling roll.
Oh no! These roll high. Oh shit.
13.
Okay.
No.
Because it's your chicken. Your hand has an oddly relaxing feel to her because you didn't grab with murderous intent. Mm-hmm. So you stroke the
And
feathers.
before I move out, I turn back to the door and I gently put the chicken away. Hand it off to Alba.
Okay.
Hand it off to Alba.
She's your wife's hands are shaking a little bit, and she takes the chicken and then she starts stroking the chicken.
And I just walk on. I mouth I love her to her and I walk off.
Okay.
Against the door, against the walls to keep ourselves out from just out in the open.
As much as you can. There's not a whole lot. You kind of arc close to where the pig pen is. You're a generally upstanding guy, but there is some dark corner of your soul that rejoices in the fact that the magistrate side of the pen got hit harder than yours.
Well, he had better pigs.
He did. No, he did insist on having the best pigs, and so they got turned into bacon.
Giving a quick glance over at Servilius, does he have anything metal on him? Anything metal on him?
You guys are roll poor. No.
Okay. I have.
He's got his big impromptu maul or I shouldn't say impromptu, his home carved, the home carved, tree branch that has now turned into a mall.
Gotcha. I'm going to crouch down.
Okay.
And I'm going to take one of the stones that I have, and I'm going to toss it, not as far as I can, but just enough to get any of the potential scouts that they have with them, or anybody really, to just take that as a
okay. Before you do crouch down. Before you throw, you two, high passive perceptions, look out. So if you don't know that at home, that just means this characters are quite alert. What is your psychological state as you're coming back to the place of your victimization, though?
Right now, it's on high alert because of a teeny. Matter of fact, I was looking towards the river even for a second there, thinking I need to go check the canoes. But I'm scouting the village first for any survivors. Okay, all right. Because if you let the old wounds run rampant, your eyes would be fixated on the manor. You're coming up. I mean, you can clearly see the wall scoria of the manor now. You're coming up on the place where the deed was done. If it wasn't for the smoke and the Uchini, obviously being here, that would have definitely been more focused on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a wisdom check for me and see if your disciplined is able to override your trauma.
It will be a flat wisdom check.
Yeah.
11. Sorry, not that bad. Sorry, 9.
9?
Yeah.
You see him, he's bugging out on the walls of the manor. Like, he looks toward the river, but his eyes keep getting pulled back, almost like a magnet, over to the north walls of the manor.
Not to alert them or anything like that, I would take, because I have my shield on my pad and want to grab my neck and kind of like, a task, Merrick. Kind of like pull him a little bit forward.
We need to see who's survivors behind the wall. We need to check.
We have to do this right.
You see in your mind's eye, the slave, the reinforced hut where they were where they were kept.
Remember, Merrick, I've been here with you before.
I can get in there. I can check right now.
Just wait. More in the line than this.
You can control the urge for now, but you feel it building. It's in your blood. Go ahead, Randy.
I have a prized possession, a trowel, and it has a little bit of metal into it. That's why we go to the blacksmith.
It does.
I'm going to take that instead of throwing the rock. I'm going to take the sunlight, and I'm going to glint it off the metal of it to catch his or anybody's attention that might be over there.
I love it. He doesn't even have to get that far, because as he comes out, you see these two large men coming out of. Honestly, this village is feeling more and more like a crypt to you. We're not quite fully there yet, but it's starting to. I mean, there's a crypt in Germentum, so you're kind of familiar with the metaphor. And you see these two large gentlemen creeping one of them creeping, the other one kind of not trundling because there's some danger, but kind of lumbering. Yeah, kind of lumbering behind him. Yeah, even bigger. And then you see him pause. So do you want to tell you? He looks like he's about to chuck the stone. That kind of decides better of it and starts mucking with some kind of tool at his belt.
I nod to Titus.
Okay.
Something far yonder. I see movement.
Merrick really splits like that.
And entirely, I'm like, your teenies don't reflect light. And I'll just slowly start making my way over to where that was. And I'm like,
That was good, Corey.
Yeah, and I'll slowly start making my way over to them, kind of peering around, making it known that I know that they're there, but I'll keep everyone else behind me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You again, my two observant ones. You hear some sort of susurration of conversation behind the.
Is there any rocks? Is there any way for me to sneak at all, even to get closer?
Not when you're going through the village. No, this has been cleared. And with its Pollux thought it was going to be bigger, thought it was going to be more populated, took up too much room. So there's just it's pretty sparse.
Do I see who it is?
The biggest collection of huts is 3 at a time.
I will peer and see if I can see
At the figures or at the
figures. Are they human? Are they?
They're human. They're human. They're large, male, but they're human. They're clearly not Utini.
Village survivors. They're good people.
And I call out, show yourself.
I'm going to take a look around at that point to see if anybody actually comes out. Not at him, but like anything that might be still lurking around.
Sure. No, I mean, you've had 3 years. You've had 3 days of hell.
Yeah.
3 days and nights of hell. So absolutely, you look around.
I string my bow.
Okay, you start stringing your bow. And yeah, so you look around. Your heart, as he raises his voice, your heart comes up in your chest. You don't. You miracle of miracles. You don't hear.
Right. And they would have already come out at that point, I'm assuming.
I mean, they were on nibs like white on rice. Yeah. So as soon as anybody dared get within their sphere or raise their voice or anything, they were on them. And you saw we didn't game through all of it, Randy, but like you saw several more people get taken down as they either tried to sneak into the manor, or at one point some unfortunate soul was trying to sneak out of the manor.
That was a woman or a man that tried to sneak out?
That tried to sneak out, a man.
Okay.
And he was not as quick or quiet as he thought he was, and they grabbed him and dragged him down, and that was the end of him.
Okay.
So go ahead and finish that, and then I'm going to give you guys an additional detail.
That's as far as if nothing is charging out at you when you speak up and actually make noise. I'm gonna quietly like rise to my full height and just quietly look around because I'm still on edge and just like clutching my club, really crude club. And
that's
like,
white knuckles.
Yeah, definitely white knuckled. Milo.
Yes, you can address me as such.
So you come.
Yeah,
you're going to come closer. Okay.
And like, yeah, the only thing is kind of like take the palm down one hand, but I wouldn't be pointing it at him.
Okay.
What is his style of dress? Like,
Titus, would you like to describe yourself?
That's fair. Yeah, it would basically be a silver articulated plate with a gold griffin, red hair kind of out. You'll see kind of a scar in his eyes, one green, one kind of milky powder blue. It's royalish, but however frontier royal. So would we have that, but it would have kind of like, for the cold, it would have kind of had that brooch of like fur,
so
you know, like that kind. Yeah, it would look like someone of importance, but not anybody of like high level. Gotcha. You know, so it kind of come off to you like, oh man, this must be either a lord and or someone like high ranking,
but richly dressed.
Yeah.
Got it.
Make an insight check.
23.
Okay. You have a moment. You can clearly see him. You're still aware. But you feel yourself almost step outside of your body, which you don't have words for. Hairs on the back of your head rise. And so for the next sentence or two, you can still speak, but it's almost like you're listening to somebody else speak who has your voice. Importantly, you don't sound like you, because in the ancient world there was no way to ever actually hear your voice. And so you are hearing your voice as he would hear it, not as you would hear it.
Interesting.
And as you're looking at him, you can see this towering, he's 6'5", you can see this towering, kid who's built like a brick shithouse, but you're looking at a kid. He's a warrior, obviously, and he's of age, but he is still young. Most people are not going to understand how young he is. And you can already see the years. He's so young he's far too young for the winters to be weighing on him like that, Randy, but they already are. And it's almost like he's 10, 15 winters further
16, along. But a day over 35.
Yeah. It's been rough. It's been rough.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Then I'm going to give a quick look at his companions.
Okay.
Starting with Merrick.
I'm going to slip in the descriptions, not all at once, but go ahead and describe your character to the rest of the group.
He is roughly 6'1"ish, give or take. Very broad shoulders, homespun clothing, he has a really weathered face to him, and deeply tanned, so denoting an entire life lived outdoors and whatnot. There are laugh lines around his eyes, And it seems like he always kind of wants to smile. It's like, even in this situation, it's just like, just has that kind of look about him. But the clothing is completely crude, just enough to get by, to work whatever I need to work, and to move on. Unlike you, it's nothing rich about this man.
No.
No.
I look around the entire
not at
hut
all.
and I'm like, yeah. Just kind of take that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. What is your name?
I'm Marcus, my lord.
What happened here?
The Atini. They came 3 days ago. Destroyed most of us. I'm starting to get into it. Just like, they
What's time?
we need to get out of the area. Come back to our home.
Are they still here?
They were there this morning, before dawn.
Where's safety?
I'm now back to my hut.
You see a cluster of 3 huts nearby.
I have 4 families there, gaggle of children. A bunch of us. It's the only place we could stay.
Behind the keep, the walls, do they survive?
That bastard. No, of course not.
They're dead.
I've been sitting in my hut trying to keep alive, and you're asking me if they're dead?
Who's the maester here?
What?
Who's your master here?
Sextus Minor?
Understood.
You see an arrow just
I'm gonna
break.
step back. Like, my club comes up and I step back.
Left us to die, he did. The big guy behind him says.
Yeah.
Left us to rot and die out here.
Understood. Well, tell us about what happened. We'll tell you why we're here.
In the house.
You hear some sort of activity behind the gate of the keep. And on a morning like this, where it is, nearly as quiet as a sepulcher out here, you can actually hear the metal on metal because it's so distinct. There's not much metal in this village. Of somebody playing with the gate.
Merrick ducks and starts.
Yeah.
Actually,
And you're a good distance from the gate. I mean, that's on the river, and you guys are almost on the western side of town.
I'm looking back as well.
Okay.
But I'm moving closer to my hut in case I have to move away.
Okay.
I'll follow him behind him, but also kind of keeping a decent distance and having all of you behind me.
Okay. So, how did you want to go anywhere in particular? It's pretty barren out here for cover.
I mean, there's huts, right?
There's huts, but there's nothing convenient. I mean, his huts are the closest huts.
So it's got like a big space before the hut. Mm-hmm. I moved to the first hut.
Okay. Well, then that would be that one.
That's what your hut, correct?
Yeah.
The bigger one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Randy. We didn't have a chance to go over these, so it's going to be this guy is yours. This one is Servilia, your sister, and then this one is Servilius. Yes, there was a lot of creativity in the family. This one was Servilius.
This is Marcus Jr.
Technically the older brother. So
Yeah. This is Marcus 3. Yeah.
gosh, I'm having a
Sexes and surveillances.
Gen X moment with this is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl, and like that. So, so you have these, and then this is the
Chicken coop, I saw that.
yeah.
Not the chicken.
And a chicken coop in the middle of
Very
between
good.
all
We
three
need
of them.
we need more, and we need more. My official request production team for a gaggle of chickens.
So 3 foot,
get only one.
3 foot 5, small human just dashes.
Yeah. By the way, you have not seen a Kithki before, so this is you've heard tale of them. And I mean, so it's not, you're not freaked out, but this is the first time that you is the very, because you technically you have, but you were too young, so you don't remember that. So yeah,
It wasn't so tense at the moment. If the gate wasn't I'd actually take a moment longer to actually regard him.
That's fair.
But
Yeah, that's
at this
fair.
point, the gate's starting to open.
You've got other priorities. Okay, Corey, if we need to, we can put down a figure, but again, no battle currently. Where do you want to run to the hut? So you've got a couple different little places. Those boulders are big enough. The boulders are big enough to conceal you. If you want, you could try to get in between the huts. You could,
If the boulders are big enough to conceal me, I will use the boulder and hide.
Which one? Which one do you want?
Between these two?
Yeah. Yeah, this one would be pushing it but it's a lot closer to the hook.
Where's the gate at?
The manor's that direction.
No, sorry. No, Manor's this way. So in general, guys, actually, that's a good one.
I was going to go inside the house, but keep cover.
I'm going to
the gate.
generally orient the map as though Geramentum is always ahead
Love
of
that.
me.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so the Kogi River, basically for all this campaign, unless something really weird happens, is always going to be to my right.
Okay.
And home is always going to be toward the camera. Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
And the mansion is towards the river. Then.
And the manor. Mansion's kind of highfalutin. even manor is pushing it.
Large shack.
It's a glorified farmhouse, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But it's on the river, essentially.
Okay.
And how far from us is it roughly?
From here, about a football field.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll go to the first rock then,
Okay.
and I will hide behind that.
Okay. Make a. Actually, no. I will make that for you. What's your? I guess it's just stealth. Yeah, Stu. Because those are.
Stealth, yeah.
What's your plus?
9.
9. Stealthy.
My specialty.
Stealthy hobbitids. All right, hobbitses. So you get, with apologies for JR, you would be.
Rolking.
Okay. So I'm going to warn you, even with that roll, whatever it was, it's still open enough that, and we don't have all the terrain, but like to your north, pretty soon are the pig pens. So if somebody's approaching from their north, they're going to see you. This is stealth. This is not magic. So they're going to see you. Okay.
I make a eye to Merrick of just kind of like a.
And actually, before all that, tell me where you guys are relatively.
If he was following us back to the hut, I would go on the far side of the hut, away from that, but not inside of it, but kind of take a glance in to see if it is, while passing by and keeping you two very close and behind me.
Far side of the hut. So you want to go on the
Be on
back.
the far side of the larger hut that his family's inside of.
Okay.
With a chicken.
So inside. So you want to be in the chicken coop or around
Not
the
in
chicken
the
coop.
chicken coop, but basically.
Sorry, around the chicken coop.
Underneath whatever coverage it would be, but outside. I wouldn't want to go directly inside until we look in.
Okay. So here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And close, even closer up against the wall.
Okay. Oh, so you're actually so Big Boy is actually being a little stealthy stealth.
Look at that.
Stealthies?
Are you? Yes.
Oh yeah, I would have him just be like, letting you guys know, following and kind of keeping an eye, looking at the back of you and looking at the back of is it your brother or brother-in-law? Oh, okay. But yeah, just keeping an eye between you two, and
the
then
big one.
slowly kind of following you guys in while you're walking into the hut, and then kind of like peering in to see what it is.
Okay. Do you actually go into the hut?
I do a knock on the door. I'm sure they're watching me. I'm sure she's watching me. So I'm going to knock as I approach.
Okay. Let me get Wace and Katrin. So what are y'all doing?
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay.
Per usual. But I think she's gonna, if she can, kind of zone into the Eternal River
Okay.
to see what she can see, if there is any mana that she can see revolving around certain things. Maybe she can see, I don't know if she can see this far, but see any sort of life force or something that's behind whatever's happening.
You walk around, you feel that tingle, and with you, it starts at the base of your spine. It always has. You know that now, looking back. It runs up, and as you're just kind of dropping into it, you only have just a hint of that ghostly fire running up your slender frame. And then your eyes turn and you start to see what the gods used to make all of creation, although only a tiny piece of it. Not like when your mentor kind of threw the shutters wide open. You're just seeing a small piece of it, although you do know more than you used to, a tick more than you used to.
She's been practicing too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You start to see. So here, Anika, you're just seeing what you would expect. You see the dervishes, the kind of the lazy dervishes, if that's not an oxymoron, of mana kind of twirling up from the ground. You also sense and almost hear, and there is off in the distance there is a note somewhere in the trickling of the river, of the eternal river, of the flow of mana and ley lines and life force that are the constituent parts of creation. There is a note that you haven't heard before, and it's getting a little closer. It's coming from the southeast. Would you like to make an Arcana check?
Yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Good.
24.
Wow. Okay.
No.
You guys are on. You guys are on this.
Check, and there's a Arcana check here.
Yeah.
Louise.
Sorry, guys. I'm good at my job.
Only. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you are good at your job. So
Give it to me.
yeah, you know that you're starting. You
already know.
You've been a player enough that you're starting to know my little expressions. You. This is what you get. It is a new sound. I mean, it's off in the distance. It's not. It isn't any kind of will working. That you would know. That you would certainly know. You'd either feel it or you'd hear it. And I'm going to say that largely it's your hearing that's been tuning up lately, basically between first and second level. It's been your hearing of the Eternal River that's been tuning up, because it has its own song. The stars have their own song. Planets have their own song. And you hear
The first whisper.
We love these whispers.
A little
Anyway.
listeners at home, this happens all the time, and it will only ever happen to Katrin and or Waisa usually. It does not happen to any other character.
Not me,
So anybody
ever.
doesn't pick up on any mic of what is being whispered. Thank you for tuning into the Darkeport Sideport. Darkeport Sidebars.
Thank you, Donnie.
I just don't want anybody else to hear something. I can't. It's so frustrating.
And you'll never know.
Justice going to turn the gain way up.
Just to hear your secret.
Yeah, just to hear the whispers, the susurrations.
Sorry, y'all.
Okay, so yeah, that's what you get. Are you just doing your usual Katrin thing?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Stone face.
All right, that's kind of an SOP.
It's like the glazed kind of look. She's still focused, but
Yeah.
glazed, and then just like following wherever she has to go.
Okay,
I'm still assuming she's just exhausted.
fair.
Waisa goes around to the back of the hut, more closer to you,
Okay,
and she's stringing her bow and seeing if she can smell anything in the air that might alert to. Ooh.
Which one's got the family in it?
The bodies. No.
sorry, hon. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, she's just seeing if she can smell anything. I can help her understand what's going on.
You smell the chicken coop.
Ooh.
In living color. Which I'll tell you what you don't smell. You don't smell you don't smell the acid burn of incandescent fury.
That's a relief.
And you can, yes, you can smell the pressure, you can smell the tension, but there is a resolve to these people that is a little surprising to you. Because you've been around plenty of people under plenty of stressful situations, and humans do not normally cope with. This has been going on for 3 days now. I mean, they've been enduring a 3-day, basically a slow rolling raid that has decimated their home, and they're still. You smell anxiety and some fear, but you don't catch panic.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, and you're ready. You're
Totally ready.
You're ready to move.
What do they look like?
You'll get one of them, Randy. Okay,
Ooh.
I know. Randy really. Well,
Randy's like, let's go.
Well, it's because for years and years and years, there was always this. As soon as the character was introduced, I was kind of maniacal about describe the character. So just trying to make sure that the narrative goes forward. But yeah, let's go ahead and hit. No, it's good. Now's a good time to drop another one.
You see Katrin. She's a little bit over 5 foot, like slightly very small, very.
No, this is bigger Katrin, remember?
Well, no, she's still small. She's
thought-
not. How tall did she get?
Katrin was like 5'7" now, or 5'6" or
Oh my
5'7",
God, we're the
yeah.
same
She had a growth
height,
spurt.
guys.
Yeah.
She had a growth spurt. So now she's still small. She's very petite, but
Yeah.
she's taller, I guess.
Same with me.
But, haha. Finally, almost taller than you.
Yeah.
Not at all. But you see her hair's dark in a messy bun. She's got like little braids going through it. It's kind of just like wisping around her, and her eyes are kind of, right now they're glazed, but typically they're kind of like darty, and they seem like they know more than you.
It's very frustrating.
She does.
Doesn't
But
get-
she's very simple. She's got a face full of freckles. She looks very different, but she's beautiful, and she's the only one that doesn't know it.
How old does she appear to be?
She's young, so what at this point? I mean, she's 16, but
She looks a little older than that.
a little bit. But she's got that like super youthful kind of face. Like she hasn't seen a lot of hardship, or as much hardship, where she doesn't look as tired and as sad. So she's still got quite a bit of youth.
And her clothing.
Oh, her clothing
Yeah.
is very simple.
Yep.
Like super simple, kind of like shift dress or like tunic. Nothing crazy about it. Little leather gauntlets.
Bracers.
Bracers.
Yeah.
And then a backpack that she doesn't know what's in it. She's just holding it dearly,
So roughly simple peasant guard kind of feel.
pretty much.
Honestly, yeah. It's very, very little. I'm going to let you continue to ride off of that earlier excellent kind of out-of-body insight check as these people. You look at her, and your entire life has been lived amongst the same, less than 200 people. I mean, even accounting for the births and the deaths and et cetera. And there is something about this one that looks different, and you don't know exactly how to place that, but something about the formation of the eyes maybe, or, I mean, you're used to tan skin, so that's not remarkable. The freckles are not remarkable either, but there's something different. And you do, even though your character is with respect and love, even though your character is ignorant in the literal sense of the word, just because you don't know the world outside of your village, you obviously have a great understanding of humans. And she looks different, and you know that there are many different kinds of people. You're seeing another one over there.
There is something that you also notice. She is doing this with her hand, but there's nothing in it. It looks like she's flipping a coin, but there's no coin.
That's a
There's
good
no nothing.
That's a good catch.
And it's kind of her tick.
That's
and
a good
so
catch, Anika. Yeah.
it's odd.
You,
Finger roll.
Yeah, like a loan shark.
your wife immediately hugs you as you come back in, and
Give a survey of the room again, but quick, just once over, make sure all the kids are together, like stuff like that.
they are. Do you, at this moment, because I know this has kind of been rotating through, Randy. At this moment, do you have all the kids in your hut together? Okay,
Yeah, it's the best place to actually take care of them in case we did get attacked.
Okay.
So,
Because I know at one point you were kind of trying to hold the courtyard.
Yeah.
The courtyard, the
Yeah, but-
chicken courtyard.
but at this point, it's like it's daytime. We're probably gonna be needing to sleep here soon. It's like we've
That's true because you've been up at night because they're active. They're more active at night.
So
that's good.
This is probably the time to sleep and whatnot.
That's a good point.
Like half of them might even be asleep for that matter.
Oh, I'm sure most of the kids. Yeah, I'm sure most of the kids. And then the older children, have, it's sad, but they've also taken up whatever improvised arms they're able to.
Tiger Queen, your Chicken King.
So you.
I hug her back, kiss her on the forehead, and hold her close as I turn back to the guests. We haven't guessed. Lord. Oina?
Now?
Maybe he might have seen Livius out there.
Yeah. Why?
Livius?
Oh, he sees this
I don't know,
gigantic
someone else
red
might have
head
gotten away.
kind of like peering over the side of the door looking in.
Someone else who might have gotten away. I have no idea.
So you would have to be. You actually can do that, Donnie, because even though these huts only have one door out, his hut and the other two we established this actually have a passageway through. So there's a back door.
Oh, okay.
Well, the back door is closed though.
Yes. I would have been following him to the front.
Oh, okay. Okay. So because this is the back, huh?
Oh, yeah. I was waiting until the side of the door. Sorry, I thought the door was on the same way as that.
I'll show you.
Oh, okay. So he walks away and goes into there. Okay.
Yep.
Then I'll stay in the back because I'm assuming that I see where that door is, and
This is too fun. Okay.
Yeah, I'll kind of like.
Do the two. This is like this is being Legos all over again. Do y'all want to follow him or do you want to stay undercover?
No, if I'm
in the courtyard.
Yeah, I would kind of knock at the back of the door if I know that that's a door.
At the back door.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let him go and greet that. It's kind of like.
I would stay at the back door.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not letting you guys go anywhere without me.
Okay. You hear the knocking. You do see a delegation moving out of the keep now. They took their sweet time opening that gate, and it looked like there was some kind of squabbling going on as the gate, where the gate was like cracked, and there was squabbling. You're too far to make out the exact words. It almost doesn't matter. And now you do see an unfamiliar, yet another unfamiliar person, older definitely, coming out, and behind him, you also see the unmistakable, relatively unremarkable kind of figure of your magistrate minor.
Behind. That's lovely. All right.
Along with his bully boys.
I open the back door.
Firing a warning arrow
Oh,
in front of him.
Yeah.
That's...
It would
Okay.
be close enough for you.
Okay, roll.
Kithki lucky.
Thank you.
Ooh, yeah.
Explain that real quick.
So, Kithki have an ability when they roll a 1, they get to reroll again on most things, to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And it has to do with our blessing. We're just lucky. We're naturally lucky. And in this world, Magna Marta, who's our patron, our goddess, essentially, of nature, grants us the ability to just somehow just not actually fall, not actually shoot the wrong way, not actually stumble, but
Handy.
Tripping.
able to trip and like recover.
Handy.
So
Very handy.
And I work that into the narrative depending on what the second roll is.
so now we have a 18.
All right.
Yay.
So the arrow starts off horribly, and you overclock the draw. Your hand, and this you haven't done since you were a kitling. Your hand is shaking as you release it, and you already know this arrow is gonna go just nowhere. And instead, there's a gust of wind at the right time, and it blows because he gets to reroll ones, not because he's good, but because the Magna Mater, the Great Mother, loves her children. Mm-hmm. So there's a gust of wind at the right time, and the arrow, the shaft, goes, and that's a yellow.
Yep.
So there's
So I wouldn't be able to miss that.
no, because you're inside.
So yeah, I would turn to Merrick, kind of like looking, and
See
just
Merrick
like,
do some sort of sign.
Yeah, an eye. It's like a count, like how many?
How do I see?
You see quite a delegation coming out. So you see this man actually make a religion check. I want to see if there's a detail. I want to see if you understand this or not. You may not.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
Hey, second crit.
Okay. Well, second.
Credit of the day.
Yeah, you guys are rolling really well. Okay? Then he is wearing he's wearing a circlet of faith. So he is a senior priest of Quaelathon. Specifically, he is a senior priest of the primes. So the ones who believe in 10 lights instead of 11 or 12. The circlet is unadorned, other than being a valuable circlet of bronze in a pretty poor world.
The 10th light is...
So the primes believe in 10th light, in 10 lights, but he can worship any of those inside of him.
The 11th through 12th.
Right, just not the 11th or 12th. Just so. As you are looking, I'm going to say with that 20, you're really zeroed in on him. And so, and he's proudly wearing his candle of faith, You see the bottom portion of it is silver, and the flame is gold. And the last thing I'll say, it's a little weird that you would know this, but you did roll a 20. But Duramentum does have all three sects of Quaelathon in it. You know that the silver is the third light, which is wisdom, and the gold is the fourth light, which is prosperity.
Go figure.
And so some of them do worship more than one light at a time. Usually only if it's more than one, it's usually one or two.
And he's escorted by...
Well, he's not really escorted, Corey, because he is moving like a man of no uncertain opinion. He's moving toward this hut. I mean, he's almost striding, but he doesn't quite have the fluidity to get there. But he's going at a quick pace over. Behind him, so I spoke too soon. So you have him, you have the Magistrate Minor, but the Magistrate Minor issues his men ahead of him. So 6 men go ahead of him, and then behind him, in kind of like this would be comedic if the situation wasn't so tense. You have someone who's like the dog walker, who's trying to walk as many dogs as humanly possible, and then some, to maximize the efficiency. And he's got a pack of Bazaret behind him that he's pulling on leashes, and they're responding. I mean, these nasty foul-tempered creatures are responding to him. And they're
actually recognize the magistrate. Is he hairy? How about that?
Quite.
Good question.
Quite. In fact, in fact, one might even say that he is the simian-visaged hirsute man instead of the simian-visaged hirsute youth.
Wow.
That's a hell of a description. Yeah, so count for it.
I go. And I go.
Yeah.
And then I go another. And then I go.
I knock a little bit quicker. I'm like,
Okay.
Marcus. Yeah.
What?
Open up the door.
It's already open?
It's the back door. Okay. Yeah. I walk in. I'm like,
You see about 20 people crammed into this hut. There are 5 men, I believe. 4, 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, Alba, sister, and the wife of the sheep herder.
Servilia, Drusilla. Okay. 4 or 5 women?
4 women.
4 women, and then the rest are children.
okay. And then I see through the door that they're approaching, but they're still probably pretty far away.
Do you still have the door open?
In the front.
Okay, I thought he was actually behind
so
me.
then
Okay.
I'm like,
You do.
Marcus, a boy came to our village that ran at an unnatural speed, warning us of this attack on your village. Did the magistrate do anything to protect you or your people?
Well, he didn't.
Why are they coming here now?
You're here.
Well,
This boy, tell me about him.
Act proper. That's a lord. That's a lord.
he's too exhausted. Just told us that he was running towards us.
Mother, can I
How
touch
old
him?
was he?
Can I touch him?
He was young.
No, darling, down. Where you at? Back down. Shut your gob.
That being said, I didn't know if it was from the magistrate or from the people. For right now, I think it'd be best if you came back with us to Jeremiah, and we should probably begin to head north.
At this moment, right now.
And I look out at those guys, and I look at the people, and I'm like,
He's going to be here. The father at the front, the priest at the front, is going to be here fairly soon.
okay. Like,
We might not even have time, should we?
yeah. I'll stay with you. Have your men and your people go out the back door with Waisa and them, and looks like we will need to have a conversation.
All right.
Your
Can I
wife,
trust him? Like, can I make an insight roll?
your wife and your sister are both, are both looking at you, kind of quizzically looking him.
Right.
They are averting their eyes, although his sister a little bit less.
Can I feel any ill intention?
Make an insight check. And do
Hey.
okay.
23 again.
Okay, you don't need advantage. I was going to say because of your earlier interaction, you can even do so with advantage. Okay, this will be interesting.
Ooh,
Good one. Yay. Hercules.
I love it. I love
Shimmy
it.
the men by the pile so they don't come in unless if they see a red arrow. They would notice. Here on the Darkeport sidebar. Don't worry about it. They're going to be giving away some secrets. Secrets that you can't hear. Secrets that I'll never know. They'll be to every other character on the table aside from Titus.
Titus doesn't know anything.
Doesn't need to know anything.
Wisdom is not a high enough.
Welcome to the Darkeport sidebar.
Did you get that?
Yes, I did. Okay. So after, I don't know, maybe, because I know time is of the essence here, so maybe after about a 5-10 second long look at you, I nod to all the guys at the kids, the bug bags. There we go.
Right, Obs.
Civilians, guard them, keep them. I'll stay. You go. I'll be along.
Piss off.
I'll be along. Shut your gob and go.
All right. They start to gather their
be back.
meager belongings.
Yeah.
Remember that we had the run bags already prepared.
Oh, yep. No. You're right.
Yep. Because in case we had to
Yep,
run.
the bug out bags. So, yep, they do not even have to gather. That is a good point because this scene would have changed, Randy. So, no, they just grab these little their few possessions that are already bundled up, and your sister, the task mistress of the extended family, it's just like right. On, off you go. Just one after the other, like a kid factory, shooting them out past the coop. Where? Maya, right there. Go.
Yeah. And I would also turn back to.
So they're streaming into hers.
Where are our men located? I'm going to scoot behind the rock a little bit more, and I'm going to fire an arrow at the men, a yellow arrow.
That will give away your position. It's now daylight, and this delegation's approaching. And you do not have the skulker feat. Okay. All right. So you hold off on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, as those people are kind of like ready, how far away is the magistrate from the front of the door?
The magistrate or the priest? Because the priest is going to hit you first.
The priest, I would be like, Marcus, we should have a conversation. And I'm going to have you go out, and then I'll walk out after they recognize you.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
like myself.
It would just be like him go out first, and then me behind him, kind of like towering up.
So you don't have a friendly fire situation, is what you're thinking. Okay, got it.
My weapon will still be in hand, but it will not be raised. It won't be aggressive. It'll just be loosely held at the side.
Okay.
Because, man, 3 days of this crap,
Okay, so you're not brandishing the club, but it's
No, but it's
by your side.
within easy reach of myself, like you
Okay.
need to. And I'll walk out. I'll lead him, and the ladies with him, or are they staying inside?
They're with.
No, they're
with the
behind.
people. Yeah.
And you're also making sure that the kids get through. One of the younger ones is she's so scared she tries to crawl into the chicken coop and hide in the coop.
I would bend down and... Hey, darling. I know you're a bit scared, but I promise you, if we all go together, it's the best case scenario. And when we're together, we're going to be okay. Come.
Make a persuasion check.
Sweet.
26.
You guys are killing it today. Oh my god! So no, she's Wace's rural persuasive when she wants to be.
Big,
Yeah.
big smile.
You talk pretty, you do. And her eyes. Can you teach me to talk pretty?
Of course, darling.
Can I hold your hand?
You can hold my hand, and I'll braid your hair later.
Oh man.
Because you've got the killer. You've got the killer braids.
Killer braids.
I feel like this is a good time to introduce what Wasa looks like then, as the child is.
So, Wasa is about 5'2", 5'3". She's a lean frame. She's got 2 braids in the front usually. Sometimes she pins them back, but she has a turquoise pin on the side of her head. She's wearing like a light leather armor. She's carrying a few different swords and daggers.
A few different weapons, yeah.
A few different weapons.
Yeah, a variety of weapons.
She has a bow. She also has a little sack of treats tucked
Always.
inside. Always. And she has the skin and the hair of someone that's been taken really great care of most of her life, but now she has a few more cuts and scrapes on her hands and arms.
Bit of light callousing now
Just a bit, yeah.
across the hands. Yeah.
Yeah. And her cheeks are quite full. She kind of shows her love of treats through her face. And yeah, she's warm.
About how old does she appear?
She about 14 winters. And her eyes are a brown amber color.
And Angel, we're in public space at this point, right?
Oh, you know what? Good call. I'd put this out and then I put it back. So for those of you at home, since this was clearly public, since there is sometimes some confusion about where scenes are taking place, there is a public. Scene is taking place in public. I was doing so good with this too before we were streaming. I was really
so pretty to look at. You know,
I was really on this. No, I want to keep them.
Keep it for yourself.
There is. So this would be the marketplace. So that's showing public. This would be. We will get to this up north. This would be the Kithki Arbor, and that is semi-public. And then for printing reasons, even though this doesn't entirely make sense in character, here is Katrin at Ruins, which apparently she's by herself because that is what we have for private right now. It was supposed to be Titus in the Crypt, but
I mean, it makes sense. I got the first secret. Here we
you got the first secret. No, that's true. That's true. And obviously,
In the future.
until we have some weird sci-fi parallel universe thing going on, we are only going to have one of these out at a time. Thank you, Corey. So we are now in public, such as it is. And all right, yeah. So the
She comes along with me. She trusts me.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. No, she's starry-eyed, and you eat and smell pretty.
And maybe I offer to the kids some Arpo pie.
Some ARPA. Okay. Woo!
There's a lot of them.
They flock. Yeah.
Oliver Twist all over again here.
Yeah.
Like-
They immediately flock. You notice though. You do notice because you've seen all kinds of different versions of humanity around treats. Obviously, they don't slap each other. They don't step on each other, and they don't push each other. There's some pouting. There's a little bit of glaring, but there's no physical violence to enforce the treat hierarchy. All right.
I'm even happier to share with them.
Awesome. Awesome. So just for GM, he is in front of you?
Yeah, like abreasted, kind of at an angle.
Okay, so
I wouldn't be standing behind him, but I'd be standing like a little, probably a shoulder's length, kind of on the side.
it would not be socially appropriate for you to stand.
Okay, that makes sense.
For you to stand beside
I would
him.
stand in front of him then.
Okay.
At the exact same kind of like increment.
Okay.
A little bit in front of him, and I would just have chill on the back, pile up on the back, and kind of like hand on hilt on the sword, just kind of like very casual, just looking at them.
Is he on your left or is he on your right, which also has social implications?
He'd be on my right.
Okay.
So that Merrick has a clearer line for anything
That
I would
too,
do.
right? That too.
Yeah, that's not the station thing.
Not the station,
Very practical.
although it just happens to coincide. It gives him a little bit more weight because he's at your good right arm.
Yep.
Do I know the senior priest's name?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you have not seen this person. You did not even know he was. You did not even know he was here. Bear in mind, though, that there's plenty of activity that happens on the back end of the manor that you are not privy to.
Of course. And I'm not going to see the
Because he has his own
what
dock.
comes up or
Yeah,
down usually.
no,
Or
he has
the-
his own dock.
the river.
Unless you happen to be someplace, it's not unusual that people come and go. What is unusual is that his presence here was not announced. That is unusual.
As a senior priest, he would have.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
As they approach, I even know the priest.
This is the priest?
The one approaching us is. Well, I don't even know him. I never see him. I didn't even get a fanfetication.
Ave,
Ave.
I expect that you are. Am I addressing House Vorn?
You are.
Let me correct myself. Ave, Domini.
Apology accepted. Ave. It's kind of like a real flex to it.
I have the pleasure of being Father Cratius of Leptis Regium. I have been granted a certain amount of freedom, and he touches the circlet, a certain amount of freedom by his grace.
Understood.
And I'm curious as to the activity over here and the fact that your lordship would deign to come to such an inconsequential location as Pulex.
No, we received an emissary of a young boy.
Come again?
Someone coming to warn about what was happening here. We wanted to come and help. Though it is a satellite of leftist regime, it's my duty as a lord to help those in need. This man, and I look over to Marcus and was telling us as such. Utini raids.
Indeed, in fact, and then the Sextus Minor shoves his way through. Hold on to them, but it's going to take him a second to get up there. Hold on to them. Mm-hmm. He's making his way through the men.
My face is carefully schooled, carefully schooled, neutral as I can make it right now, but I am seething underneath him.
Yes. You know what's been going on for the last 3 days, and you know what happened. The one detail I will say is that behind them now, clearly, Donnie, now that you're out and you're fixed east, and you already knew this, you can see a number of corpses arrayed around the gate, and part of the bickering was that they were arguing about who had to climb over the wall to shove them out of the way because the gate had caught on the corpses. And now from where you're fixed, you can see that. So people died trying to get in, trying to get in.
And they wanted to keep them out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so, so you're looking at a pinch-faced, gray-bearded man in, I won't go so far as to say finery, but in his robes of station are certainly clean. The linen is crisp, high quality. You do not see. Actually, no, I take that back. There's a little gold piping around here, a little silver lining.
Priest comes with its benefits.
It's subtle, but it's definitely there. He's no itinerant preacher.
Yeah. I started looking kind of behind him and looking around him. I'm like, so when did you arrive?
Just recently, Domini. In fact, Priest, Father, we don't need to talk about his business. Excuse you. This is the Lord I'm addressing. Oh.
Yeah, I look at him I look back at him, at the priest.
And I've been here less than a 10-day. There was interest. Make a persuasion check. Let me see if he likes a cut of your jib or not.
Crit.
Dude, that is the best.
Okay.
Nice, baby.
Woo. Yeah, no, you guys have really been doing that. Okay. He looks at you. Oddly, I feel I can unburden myself to you.
He's in shock.
Just that
this entire city's been covered with burden.
He looks back at the corpses, looks over at the smoke. That's certainly one way of saying it. I arrived here because there was interest. You understand the gentleman behind me, Sextus Glabrio.
That's the word.
Indeed. His cousin is the magistrate major of Leptis Regim. Your lordship is aware of this?
Yes.
Wonderful. Then when there was interest in perhaps expanding this village with a shrine, mayhaps even a temple one day, Domini. Then,
grow.
Of course, just so. I could hardly turn down the call of the Lord of Light, which led me here. And so now I was here. I was trying to set up some little something before rekindling, which is only days away now.
About 5.
And here I am, and it's been quite the travail for these last 3 days. These creatures, I don't know how you Riverlanders live like this.
Welcome to the north.
Yes,
It's different.
these things are called Utini.
Yes.
their incessant howling, screeching, clawing, beating at the gates. But
Here they are eating all of us.
I look at Marcus very kind of sternly.
well, we had the worst of it. We had to listen to all of that.
I believe that you should be quite cordial with the people here. And they will be cordial to you.
Oh, his lordship is a man of the people, I see.
The lordship of those who survived here. That being said, a young boy came as an emissary who was calling out to warn us of these Utini raids, and we wanted to come and help.
I insist.
I see
Domini.
as though that
So, yeah, the magistrate minor is almost physically elbowing the priest aside, and he's coming. Yeah, because
calling me Domini.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he came around and yeah, he's not going to go that far yet.
Yeah.
He's almost physically elbowing the priest aside, and
I'm just gonna go like this, just a one finger.
to him to Sextus.
Sextus.
Okay.
Yeah, and just be like, as I was saying, it looks as though these people are having a difficult time surviving during these raids. And it looks as though seems safe behind the walls.
Well, only safe of body, my lord. You have no idea what listening to 3 days and nights of incessant howling
I'm gonna
can
kind
do
of
to a
lean
man.
in, and I'm just like gonna have really look at him with my eye, and it's kind of like, I have a wonderful idea of what.
He leans back.
And then I will just kind of like dart over to Sextus and kind of pull back a bit. So what was your plan? Leave your people out here? From your gates?
Well, they're not officially my
All
flock yet.
children of the Lord of Light.
Well, this is true, but I just want the record to reflect, Domini, you do have the secret of the word after all. That these, well, of course you're right. Of course you're right.
I know.
Here, magistrate minor, why don't you thrill his lordship with your own tales? And if you let him, the priest is gonna
Yeah, I'll like then let my finger down and then slowly kind of look over at him.
Okay. Well, it's just that.
Wait. Marcus. That's what it was, right?
Aye.
Would you mind telling Father Cassis and your magistrate your experience first?
I'm sorry, what?
Tell him of your experience over the past 3 days.
Well, we gathered up as many as we could. There was my three, of course, my kin, their families. We managed to make it over to the sheep herders and gather up them. They tried to actually get into the gate. Unfortunately, one of your men shot one of theirs.
I'll have him flogged.
I appreciate that, my lord.
I don't want you to interrupt Marcus again.
And then we survived for 3 days, while expecting the Utini to break down our gates, or doors at any given time, with 17, I believe. Killed all chickens. The hogs, of course, are gone. There's bodies all over the place, including Nibs, right over there. That was my friend Tillis's best mate.
I apologize for your loss, Marcus.
I appreciate that, my lord.
Oh, that was the.
And I don't believe I should talk much more.
That's all right.
Merrick drawled his bow, by the way. Like, keep it really, literally taut. Like,
Okay.
He's just holding back, shaking.
Okay.
And he's aiming it at
That sounds like a wisdom check to me to avoid to avoid aware. You know what this man, what the magistrate minor did to you in his youth. You're hearing his laughter at more than your expense at the evisceration of who and what you were at the time. You can see, you see the man in front of you, but really you're feeling the boy. And even though he's cleaned up his speech and his
that mockery of the men that he left die in front of the gate that triggered.
Oh yeah.
That was the end cause there.
Well, and Nibs, somebody who got gored by the Utini, you did see him just step over the corpse as they came over. We're gonna make a wisdom check.
I hope I can hold it.
In just a little bit. In just a little bit, my dear, if you will get the candle.
I will.
And so we are going to take a short a short intermission, and our wonderful production team is going to thrill you with a video which explains who these characters are in a bit more detail than I've gotten to. We'll just pretend I got a little further in the story because there's a treat at the end, but that's fine. And we'll see you at the backside of that, approximately 15 minutes. Thank you so much for being on this journey with us up until this point.
All right, guys.
Cracking and high, you rise to the sky, watching people like me, who tend to the soil we toil and broil, yet never have we been so free.
Before we dive back into Merrick's potential inciting incident, act of war, I want to give a big thanks, show of appreciation for Table Wars, our first official sponsor, y'all.
Yeah.
Very nice. He provided the map, and this will be one of many places that threaten our intrepid heroes' lives, and torture their existence. So unfortunately, there is a hex grid that goes onto this too, which would be perfect if this was an at-home game, but the light's it's a little too reflective. So we're working on that. We'll see what options we have with that. Okay. Merrick, would you like to see if you are the Casus Bella for the war on German?
I don't want to see.
Got Fran Ferdinand right here.
Let's see if I call it an international war.
And for this and only this, the Magna Mater is watching, but you must determine your own fate. And so if you roll a 1, you roll a 1.
Oh!
Big money.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
All right, no Jerry drop.
No joke. No.
We have,
Not a 1.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A 2.
10. 10 plus, what is this, a flat?
Wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. It'll be 13 total.
Your hand is trembling. You can now
I'm
feel.
sorry, that's a 19.
Oh, that is a 19.
That's a 19?
So it's 22.
Okay. My bad. I should have said open roll, and I should have had you roll in the middle of the table, because that actually is a very.
I thought you were going to do that.
No. I should have. I have to get used to that as a mechanic.
Yeah, that's fair.
As something does, it's part of translating. Old dog, new tricks. Okay. So total of 19. No,
22.
22 then for you. Okay. You feel your hand trembling. Have you ever been angry enough in real life, Corey? Because not everyone has, where you can actually hear your pulse pounding in your ears.
Yeah.
The rush of blood in your ears, like in real life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're hearing the rush of blood.
Heartbeat.
In tune with your heart. You want to fucking murder this man. You're thinking about the doctor who carved you up. You're thinking about your friends who were tortured in there. And I mean, that's just, the more you're hearing his voice, and yeah, it's 30 winters ago, which is a long time, but not really for Kithki.
What is this way he says the words?
And you hear the words. His voice has changed somewhat, but it's still him. I mean, he can't be anything other. The dogs are long since dead.
Military discipline is taking over.
But the military discipline is there, and you do not fire until your lord gives you a command or until the situation.
Hard eye.
Waisa, were you with the kids, or did you stay with the kids, or did you come out back to this kind of central chicken courtyard?
Well, where would the kids be?
Kids are
In this other one?
yeah.
I might be at the doorway of that hut.
Okay, at that back doorway. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so you can't see it. You look up because you can clearly, from your vantage point, you can clearly see Merrick.
Yeah.
You glance over there. Excuse me. You glance over there, and you can see him trembling.
And the arrow's actually top.
You've known him long enough. Anika, that he's not going to have the arrow taut and out just normally. Mm. He's not going to do that. It's wasteful of energy. He might take his elbows in, take a little bit of the tension off, and be ready and alert. But I mean, he's at the moment just before kill.
Oh, fuck.
Let me know. I'm going to keep running the scene.
Yeah.
Let me know. Our events are going to continue. Let me know.
How far away is he from me?
I don't know, probably 70 feet or so.
Okay.
From there, I'd have to check to make sure, but something like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for telling your tale, Marcus.
And
I'm going to wait a very uncomfortable silence while looking back from Father Cassis and then looking over at Sextus and kind of just waiting until...
I'm holding off on having you make that intimidation check. Mm-hmm. I want to see where you hit the crescendo. You've already got advantage on it, but I want to see exactly where we land.
Totally.
Behind him, you can hear the of the Bazaret, and they can smell and sense the tension rising around their master. And some of them, the largest one, is straining at the leash to get at you. Back, you beast!
Do I still have that weird dichotomy between my voice and...
No, that's over. Okay. That's past. You're back. You are fully embodied again. Okay. Father! And this is coming from way back here. Actually, a little bit diagonal from where the smoke was at. You hear a voice. There's a from earlier. And it's off at a distance, approaching rapidly. The men turn. The men turn as the Bazaret snarl. Look around. Do you want to shift your focus, or are you keeping? I know how you do sometimes. Are you?
Yeah, I'll just be looking at him.
Okay, so you're still pinned on him. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like waiting until he tries to speak.
He. I go.
Thank you for telling your tale, Marcus.
He looks away. There was silence, and then he looks away. He looks at the cry. And approaching rapidly, Merrick, you can see this because of the angle that you're at, and of course you're watching him carefully. If violence does ensue, you have a clear duty. So you actually see. I'll go ahead and describe it as though you're looking, because eventually you'll look over, but.
Sorry.
Looks like a... First off, you've never seen an equine before. None of you have. Mm-hmm. You see a dappled bay equine speeding towards you. So kind of a soft brownish color, and then they're lighter spots. Normally I'd let one of you make a animal handling roll, but you've never seen an equine before, so you're going to need a little bit of time around them. I know, Randy. I know. You got to work that animal handling. The most forlorn and sad little skill in 5th edition. So this dappled bay, and for those of you who know what this is, it's I'll describe it more fully, but it's this world's version of an Icelandic if you know horse breeds. So you're looking at, for you, the equine looks like a very muscular, large pony. And it has a beautiful mane that's flowing, that looks well cared for. However, that is probably not what gets your attention at first. There is a pagan goddess bearing down on you. She has in her, you have never seen a woman in articulated plate before. Mm-hmm. You do this day. And with the sun glinting off of her gold filigree and the emeralds that bejewel her protection, she has a girl in her arms and she's charging toward you. You almost feel like she's charging at you. Her thick emerald tresses flying behind her. For those of you who know the history, these two characters would at least. You know that marks her as both of ancient blood and chosen of necessity. She's galloping now. She has her mount and is galloping toward y'all.
The set of her face, can I see it from this distance? Like, is she look angry when she's charging him, or just intent to get to him?
Intent.
Okay.
Can I figure out what her emotional state is? I mean, if I see this, I'm going to glance and see the horse charging. I'm going to.
Okay, so the men, the men wheel around. I'm not going to mess with that yet.
Father, was that towards who turned first? Was it the
the priest? Yeah, the priest turns. He startles. You kind of see the eyes bug, the jaw flaps. He's clearly out of his depth. She just continues on, a woman on a mission. That equine is fast. You've never seen its like before. Your military mind, you calculate that distances and you're like, my gods.
Yeah.
So she's going to be on you in less than a third of the time that it would take somebody sprinting over.
I'm going to whisper quietly while all attention is on her. She doesn't seem intent to hurt you.
For Merrick, because of his intense emotional state right now, make an insight check. If you were in your clear head, I would make you do this, but you're not.
Natural 20.
Holy shit! All right, this is it's catching. It's just there's just a vortex.
What's happening?
You know, I warned everybody at the beginning of this that I was anticipating character death. Throughout the course of this war, I would love to be. This is a good omen. I would love to be wrong. As what the third. It was the fourth guy. I'm such a geek. The fourth doctor saying the moment has been prepared for. Okay, so sorry that just popped in. ADD brain. No, you fix on her with a 20 because you do have a fair bit of wisdom as well. First off, you can feel the ferocity radiating off of her even from this distance. This is a force. The second thing is that in this moment. And I don't want to. This is a snapshot, Corey. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to feel like the GM has sold you a bad bill of goods when things, if and when things change. In this moment, there is that ferocity is bent toward care of her charge, and the girl that she's clutching up against her, is clearly important somehow. She's going. Her weapon. She has a full thick gladius. Rare even to see a woman with that, and she's intent on, and with that roll, she started intent on the father when she called out father, and then she looks at him and has to pull herself away and continues toward exactly what she was seeing. You don't even with that roll you can't exactly tell, but you caught that. It was quick. You caught that though.
Shifted.
That she shifted toward him and then back. And the last thing I'll say on a crit is you recognize a very familiar thing where that's for later, whatever that was. I have a mission to finish. You do not read murderous intent, just ferocity to the
baby. Yeah, I mean, I'll hold.
Father Crisis, I assume this is your daughter.
No, that would be, no, my lord, that would be blasphemy. That's Lady Vale, I thought you had left. And she doesn't answer. She pulls up. This girl, her name is...
I'll slowly approach and be like, Lady Vale, I'm Lord Titus. And I'll try to, like, extend my hand to help her.
Ave House Vorn.
Okay.
She reaches down and she says, she's not long.
No, it's fine. I'll take her.
And you see this girl has been tusked, and it's not an evisceration though. It's a slow liver shot, but still tusked nonetheless. Father, you need. I'll get her voice. Father, you need to. Child, she
I'll
needs
slowly
you.
start taking out a vial of that stinky water that was given to me, and just kind of like begin to slowly. I should like have her on the ground for that.
This is a kind of a funny roll for you. Make a medicine check.
Oh boy, that is a funny roll. I want you to look at it.
Is it another crit?
It's another crit.
Shut up!
Did you
21.
guys load the dice
Yes.
before
This is the one you gave me.
before I got here?
All of these are ones you gave me.
Okay, yeah, no, all right.
Oh my god.
You know she's asking for. You know that she's asking for rites of last spark, and you know that the torch that it will take, the hour for the audience, the torch that it will take for the stinky water to take effect is much longer than this girl has. She's got minutes left. You start to feel hot.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Then you start to feel really hot. His face turns first as flush, and then starts to beat red. Your hands start feeling heavy and sweating.
My lady, what is the girl's name?
Tortella.
I don't know if this water will work.
She's been through a lot. What is that? Oh, the
Stinky water, I don't believe it will
the
work.
healing elixir I've heard about. Right. Father, please, collect yourself.
Don't show the time. And I'll start kind of like looking back and to see if I can see eye contact with you guys.
I'm behind you. That door is still open.
Oh, you're still there, yeah.
So everyone can still see me.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Did
probably not good.
I'm gonna let you make the call. Did your family keep the door open, or would they have shut it as this was happening?
We didn't say as it went on, as they were cycling out.
No, but you're
But I mean, if
Either
we
way
were
is
trying
fine.
to skirt them away, the door would have been closed. after
Okay,
the
so I
fact.
still am. I'm hidden then.
You would have heard. You would have heard at least part of this ruckus, though.
Yeah.
At this point,
Absolutely.
you definitely would have heard.
Yeah, the horse
this. Yeah,
sounds
that's
alerted
a
me.
natural to you.
I'm going to take a moment to just sink into myself for a second. Just take mental stock of where I'm at. I feel really hot. My hands are dry. Can I feel anything other than that heat?
Yes, you have a powerful urge to touch this girl. I'm so sorry, honey. I did everything I know how to do.
Where is the girl physically now? Is still in her arms?
Oh no, I have her down on the ground. I was ready to.
You have her on the ground. Lady Vale is hovering over you.
And I'm like pulling out whatever
Lord.
type of spray.
Lord, a moment.
Yes, Marcus?
And I'm going to go up to her. I'm going to kneel down next to her. I want to put my hand over her head and just soothe away the
Oh, there's dirt and grime and horror for
just
3
work it
days.
over. I'm just gonna think about it for a second on what we actually need to do. If it needs to be last rites, she's one of mine. She's one of mine.
You feel that heat start to coalesce, all of that in your body start to flow into your hand. It hurts, Randy.
Well, my hand will start clenching,
Like looking at Marcus, kind of like puzzled.
and then I'll just lay it directly to her forehead. It's gonna be all right.
In that moment, as you see a flare for the first time in over 200 winters in Terra, in this world, the flare of golden light comes up. In this case, out of a humble farmer's hand. What are your reactions?
I'm just staring at the girl, kind of in that, and like also like looking at Marcus and.
I fall back stunned. I just.
You drop on your ass. The father stumbles back. He too loses his footing, goes over a stone, is shaking. What the fuck? The head enforcer, Polo Minor, the magistrate minor's head enforcer, who is a doughty man himself, jumps away, and Lady Vale looks down. You healed her.
Oh, I didn't know such thing.
Oh, yes, you did. And she lifts the girl's shirt. You see blood.
Uh-huh.
You even see a bit of gut that had come out that's now been shed, like a snake shedding its skin. And her flesh is dirty, but it's knit.
Oh, I do that. I immediately get to my feet,
Okay.
start bagging away towards the hut.
Okay.
Like, still kind of want to look at Lady Vale and like,
That witch was more right than I knew. Right.
Lord Titus, Lady Vale,
A pleasure,
pleasure, yeah.
Lucretia Tarquinia Demisha Vale. Well met.
Titus Metellus Claudio Vorn.
Good to hear all four names.
Back into the hut, slam.
As they have a little patrician moment, yep.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna kind of like look back at the door after it slams, and I'm like, and he is one. How did he do that?
Come again.
He did that. He saved her.
I feel better. Oh, that you do. Right then, let's get you back to your mother.
Yeah, and I'll help her stand up and kind of like.
I may not be quite hitting that note. Her voice is a distinctive kind of smoky contralto. You would always be able to pick this out of a room. I feel like we might have a thing or two to talk about. While this is going on, there's a second figure who's been he was eclipsed by it. He's also running up and puffing, futilely trying to keep up with the equine. It's not almost a horse. With the equine, it's not going to happen. And as he comes up, I'm going to say at some point the two of you have had to have skirted around so that you could see.
Yeah.
So that you could see this. Unless you want to veto that as species, I'm fine with that too.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'd be edging on the side of the hut.
So you can still peek out. All right. This man, he's running towards you. He has pack on. He has a kind of a lithe frame that borders on athletic, but might be just a tick too slender. And he's at that intersection, as a very few people are, of both handsome and beautiful. There's an epicene grace to his features. And although the rest of the world sees the lithe, wheat-haired man running over there, flush in the face, what you see, and maybe Katrin gasps, maybe she doesn't, maybe she maintains her almost perfect sang-froid, maybe she doesn't, but you see these pale, soulful gray eyes.
Yes. I love this.
And for just a beat, for just a brief flicker, he is drawn over as well. And you have that moment which does happen in real life sometimes, where eyes are too far apart to see each other, and yet somehow you just know that another human has made eye contact with you. And then it's gone. And he too hears the call of duty, heeds the call of duty, and continues to run up. Just so I don't have to describe him again, healer's kit, simple, travel-worn vestments, on, so a priest robe, but a traveling priest, walking stick, and a few other bits and bobs on him. Well worn sandals. He's dusty, soot covered too, a little bit of blood, and continues to run. Okay.
The moment that she has that, she's gonna run cold, like completely cold, and she's gonna have that flashback.
Sure. You almost couldn't not.
Yeah.
Do I notice?
You catch a shiver, like a body.
Like you can visibly
a body
see
shiver,
it.
and for the first time in how many winters have you known Catra now?
3.
I think it's 3 winters now. For the first time, you see goosebumps
Like I am
rise up.
shaken.
Ooh, I get excited.
So,
I'm going to bring Tortella back to her parents. May I come back and parley with you properly?
Yes, we'll be on the outskirts of the city by the pilot. And,
I need the short version. The short version, Titus Metellus, is that this man. It's all right. It's all right, Adrian. I cannot explain it, but she's all right. What do you mean? She's on death's door. With respect, Domina. It's beyond my ken. You'll see though with your own eyes. Slow down. He doesn't. He just keeps running. A lot to explain, but he's my charge to get to your city, I believe. I'm looking for his delegation, his brothers. I'll explain the rest of it. I'll be back. And she looks at the magistrate minor, and he quickly bows. She reaches down, although the father now has finally gathered himself and comes up. He is fixed on you.
I'm in the hut.
Oh no, that's right. That's right. No.
Closed door.
Okay, he is fixed on the hut door.
I'll ask the Lady Vale and be like, Colin, if I think that they'd be safer behind their gates, and I have men at the outskirts of the city that will be able to protect these people, and I'll meet you there.
Come again? Who would be?
I said, and I point to like Sexus Minor and all of that.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, I don't want
the
anything to
entourage.
happen to them. Like kind of like they could be hurt out here by Utini. I'll protect these people.
So Sextus Minor finally finds his spine, and after the hubbub, looks over. This doesn't mean you're going anywhere.
That finger comes up again while I'm looking at Lady Vale and not looking at him, but I know that he can still see them do that.
Donnie,
Merrick is watching.
Donnie, it's time, because I need to see if you're actually going to cheat the audience out of our first combat.
Oh, boy. All right.
So why don't you make an intimidation check with extreme advantage? So 3 rolls.
9.
Crit again.
2.
Okay, so that is 18.
18's the highest. All right.
All the crits on medicine checks. Come on.
The critical ones, right? Right? Yeah.
His jaw sets. I'm going to roll this in open. I want to see his opposed. roll on charisma. His jaw sets. You have just enough administrator in you, not much, but what your twin has forced on you, unwillingly. That
Olivia.
You're looking at the face of a man who's looking at his fortune about to depart.
Oh yeah, and I'm not even looking at him. I'm looking at her.
Even though the fair.
That's how I wanted to let him know that that's how little I think of him.
Even though the conversation hasn't happened, he's not stupid.
Oh yeah,
and he knows what's coming.
Yes.
He also knows what his cousin will do to him. So here we go. Otherwise, he would not stand up to you. 18.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm scared.
That's a 9.
Nice.
Yeah, his bonuses are not that high.
You did it!
Welcome to this.
Well done.
Oh,
well done.
Shit.
Katrin, you are keeping track of fate points.
Yes.
So in that moment, because your lord has used moral authority during a sacred event instead of brute force, you can go ahead and give your group another fate point.
All right.
Yeah. I was not expecting to give out a fate point on the first session. So, brief explanation of fate points. There is a glorious destiny that this fellowship can potentially achieve. It's going to be very difficult. I won't give you how I handicap the odds personally as a GM, but it is it's the A+. And nobody here knows what it is. I have not written it down. I have not put it in any document. And actually only that one or two people outside of myself know what it is. And they're not talking, I think. So, so all that to say, these fate points, as they get closer, as they enact things that make that reality, that beautiful reality more, that potentiality more manifest, closer to being manifest, they can rack up fate points, and they use them to re-roll something that otherwise would prevent them from achieving that fate. And importantly, anyone, and this is different from inspiration or typical advantage, everyone in the group has access, everyone in the fellowship has access to these fate points. So you have to also trust each other, because one of you could go crazy and blow through the pool. You have.
Why would Merrick? I'm busy earning these, okay?
So right,
like, I can use them.
So right now, our keeper of knowledge over here, our keeper of the tomes, is keeping track of it, and we have 4 right now, because the group did really well in the prologuing, and they actually managed to rack up 3. You got the first one though.
I did.
Yep, you got the first one.
I got the other 3. No,
a tale for another time, but you did get the first one. All right, so in that moment, a few things happen. Adrian, the lithe, wheat-haired man with the pale, soulful gray eyes, looks around, and hearing the tone in this patrician woman's voice, and also this, obvious formidable warrior. Sorry, I didn't really describe. So she's riding up to you. Now that you can see her, she's as tall as your twin. She's fully 6 feet tall. She's easily past 200 pounds. You can't see past the armor, but I mean, she has broad shoulders, broad hips, a clearly feminine form, but it is powerful. And as you stare, her eyes are an even deeper shade of green than her hair. Yeah. So as that goes on, yeah, we'll go into genealogy later. A couple other things flash your character, but that may even be off camera.
I remember him.
Maybe okay, fair enough. No, that's good, Donnie. Right. So he was listening. He turns and looks at the hut, and there isn't the admixture of panic and shrewd assessiveness that is clear on the father's face. Normally, I would let him make a deception roll, but he's way out of his cool's blown right now. He's pretty good at his games, but not that good. This is, potentially an era-defining moment. So there's none of that. This man looks at the hut and looks down at the girl, and you see, Katrin, a very quick mind, because he looks down, he knows what the lady told him, and you can see his process, maybe nearly as fast as yours. And then looks over, and it's quiet, but you hear him, oh. And then, almost in a dream, just before the lady takes Tortella back to her mother, Domina, may I? I just have to. I think I understand. All right, Adrian, go ahead. Is that all right? It's fine. Adrian saved my life anyway. And he comes up, and actually, his hand's trembling a little bit. There are calluses on the hand, too. Reaches out, and he puts his hand and then squeezes it a little tightly over what was her shattered liver. In real life, by the way, guys, that is I can say this with some authority, that is a terrible way to die. And it's a slow, long, painful death. And even in the modern era, it requires emergency surgery. So in this era, even Granny Dushine couldn't have saved this girl. She was gone, but not dead yet. And
Wow. Oh, man, Mark.
I do.
fresh as though the Lord of Light himself. Thank you, Domina. I need to talk to that man. he goes over to the hut.
I'll help the lady on the horse and also hand her the child.
You start to help her. Just make a quick charisma roll, maybe persuasion. Let me see what's going on here.
That is a 15.
Okay. She almost reflexively just kind of dismisses your hand as she coils herself. You also see there's an easy grace under that you lack. I mean, you're quick.
Yeah.
But this is a full coordinated athlete in full bloom, in her full physical prime. So she's about to just kind of coil and spring. Which, yes, for my hardcore guys and gals out there, it is physically possible to do that on articulated plate. Just roll hard. Henry VIII used to be able to do that.
The child, though.
Well, no. You still have the child.
Oh,
You
okay.
still-
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, because you would have been grabbing her.
No, you're right. So she had coiled. Yeah, she was going to go up. Child's okay now. And she's about to kind of dismiss your hand. Yeah, I guess so. And so hops up, takes her. All right, honey, we'll have you back soon. And she takes off.
See you at the edge of the city. All right.
And the magistrate major shies. He's backed away even further from you. Shies away from you. Domina, help me to restore order. As he makes this Hail Mary. Again, he's made like a good 15, 20 feet from you. He's not going to say that when he's next to you. And she calls over, kind of disinterested, over an armored shoulder. Do I look like the city watch? And continues on.
Behind your gates, boy. Behind your gates. Yeah, sweet.
You tell him that?
Oh, no, he was told. That's what I asked her to tell him.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking that.
And then he hangs his head. And boss, the head enforcer, which you knew as a child, Polo Minor, you knew as the child who's now a grizzled vet. Boss, are we gonna shut up? Just shut up. Get the Bazrit. We're leaving.
Yeah, and as you say, and I'll start walking in and going to get the children.
Merrick collapses at this point. He and he just puts his head in his, I can't do it on the table here, but
You thought I didn't read it first.
and Merrick just starts crying, shaking and weeping behind that rock.
No, I'll go to Merrick.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, I'll go up and be like, you did well. Are you alright?
I want to kill him so bad.
You will. I promise you.
Oh, Titus, he does not deserve to live.
We need to get these people somewhere safe.
I need to get out of here. It's hard to resist.
Scout ahead for me. Keep an eye. Stay away from the manor.
I'm gonna go to the river. See if the tuning boats are still here.
Listen,
They may tack at night.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Lord
I've had
Titus.
some time to collect myself.
You have.
After Merrick leaves, I'm going to go in and open up the door and then close it behind him, just kind of like a... Well, Marcus, I believe we should get going north.
Okay, so you go right past Adrian. But
Yeah.
sorry. Hey, as he parks the curtain.
I close the door back and I'm like, Adrian, I believe we're supposed to meet you and your lady at the end of the city.
Right. Pardon.
You can join us.
Domini. Thank you.
But do not speak. I would like your lady to be present.
Oh, that makes
You
sense.
can speak.
That makes sense.
All right. I'm like, Marcus.
Well, I've collected myself, but I'm still at my we have a small little prayer.
When you came in, Ubs. Short. Yeah, short for yeah. She grabs you. That's my bad interpretation of a bad accent for short for husband. So but Ubs, yeah.
I'm clinging to her.
Okay. What happened out there?
I have no idea.
But you did something good.
Maybe? Yeah, it felt good. I don't know.
Marcus and your lovely compatriot, I believe that we should get going.
We have to leave.
Leave?
We have to leave right now. We have to go. Grab the kin. We going.
Leave?
Yes.
You hear your mother-in-law, or Hortensia.
Yeah, I kind of look around and I'm like,
How are we gonna leave?
With our feet. Grab your stuff and let us go.
Randy,
I am done trying to please you. I am done trying to make you happy. I love you, girl. You love our children. It's time to go.
Marcus, you teeny, keep it.
Now.
Well, there's no cause to...
Now.
I did not think I was going to be saying this episode 1. Randy, make an intimidation check on your mother-in-law.
And I'm going to stand behind him and try to give him whatever help I can of intimidation to her.
Well, there's not going to be a lot of intimidation at an 8, but he's clearly shaken, and this is not a norm.
Because, as the kids say, he's got your back like a tat, or whatever it is. Go ahead and
little woman yelling at you like,
go because the 6'5" patrician, warrior patrician who's just strode in like some sort of force of frickin' nature into Pollux is strode in. Go ahead and roll with advantage. He's giving you the aid.
Yeah.
He's aiding you.
That, on the other hand, is an 18 with...
Nice.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We can talk about this later. And we will.
We better.
I'll give you my word.
Don't think I'm going to forget.
You never do your bad.
Mine's like a harpesia.
Noted.
I lean into Marcus. I'm like, you could leave him.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
We can see that.
And all I have
We
to...
need to go.
I need to do one more thing before we leave.
I'm not carrying one of those hogs. I'm not leading that hog.
At this point.
Okay. All right. So that I'm not. That's
I
going
promised,
on. Yeah.
I promised Tillis we'd give
Weaver.
a burial to his friend. I need to get that corpse.
Where is it?
Right up there. Was about 20 yards away from her
Yeah.
hut.
Yeah.
20 yards away.
Okay, understood.
It was the body. It was the body that the magistrate minor stepped over to get here.
Yeah,
Can't do anything for the rest of them, but I promised on that.
I understand.
So.
Okay. So you collect. Who do you take your brother with you?
We take everybody. The
Yeah,
king.
everyone on this.
No.
side
So,
is- oh, yeah.
Sorry, to collect nibs. To collect his corpse.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you take with you, Randy?
I'm gonna take Quintus. I'm gonna take Servilus. I'm gonna take Tullus. I'm gonna take all the men.
Tullius, okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna take all the men at this point because there's safety in numbers, and I don't trust the magistrate to farther than I can throw him. And he could take a nice little opportunity to take a nice little bow to me.
Yeah. No. That's
I'll go with you.
that's
I
true.
think that's very honorable.
Okay.
And I poke my head into the hut and I'm so excited. We all get to go on a little adventure together. Everybody.
Your admirer peeks up. We do.
Yes, everybody. It's going to be great. I know it's been a really hard time, but together it's going to be better.
But are they gonna hurt us when they get there?
Of course not. Where we're going, it's a place of friendship, of camaraderie.
Of friends and what?
Camaraderie, care. In Germantum, there's a lot of care.
And one of the older boys perks up. And more apple pies, right?
You betcha.
That's what it's called, an arpo?
Arpo.
Okay. All right, arpo. I like it.
As we go with your family to your friend, I notice that you guys don't have anything to cover his body, and I'm going to take off my cloak and give it to you to kind of drape it over so you don't have to look at him.
This finely dyed linen cloak with filigree on it. Okay.
Thanks.
Worth more than you think.
And I'll just pick him up bottom. I have a 15 string. I'm just gonna pick him up bottom.
Yeah, you can.
I'm not gonna even shy away from the blood on it. Yeah, it's like
It's congealed now.
okay.
Actually, it's a bit macabre, but he's stiff now.
Yeah. So it should be a lot easier.
It's easier. Yep.
Well, then we go.
Randy, do you give me the highlights of how you put Nibs to his final resting place?
We, at least I and my family, believe that the body is given back to the land as they are. We don't use coffins, we don't use anything of that sort. So when we bury directly into the land to nourish it as it's nourished us.
Right.
There will be some words over him, of course, usually by me or Tilius as his friend. We'll commend his soul onto Quaelathon, and that's about it. It's simple, it's easy.
Give me that piece. I want to hear that piece.
I'll give him my shovel stave from Aurelia's field so he can dig easier.
Okay. There's this weird looking trowel which has an odd coldness to it, but as soon as and it's like, why is this not this generous lord giving me some weird, like, this is kind of a ridiculous thing to dig with, but you put it in a little tentatively, and Randy, it goes through the soil like a hot knife through butter, with virtually no effort.
Well, that's handy.
Okay.
Like it back.
Well, take a moment. I'm not gonna. It's a.
So you find like one of the trees that you bury him close under.
We'll put him down. We'll like cover him with the soil. Tilius. We are at a precarious point in our lives, and Nibs had to pay the price for it. I'm sorry. I truly am. He was a good man from what I knew of him.
You spoke true, even though I kind of hated you for saying
I
it.
hated myself for it.
You were right, though. We had to mind the living, not the dead.
He's with Quaelathon now. He's in a better place. He's going to be there for the rest of existence. And now he nourishes the ground as it nourished us.
You know Quaelathon's will, don't you?
I had no idea.
And this man who used to fight with you, who actually didn't believe you at the beginning, just 3 days, there's a different look in his eyes now.
I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and just get that camaraderie between us.
He flinches a little bit. Make a persuasion check.
16? I'm sorry, 18.
18?
18. A friend.
Well, all right. Okay. But you're still not going to get free wool.
I wouldn't dream of it, Mike. But we got to get going. It's as much as we can do for him now. We have to go.
Just say some words over him, yeah? Quaelathon's going to listen to you.
Coming a time.
Your family now has come out. Your family now has come out. They're gathering around. A few of the other villagers, even a trickle of the survivors, have started to poke out. They're not right up at the burial, but they've started to kind of come to see what this congregation is. Go ahead.
I take Alba's hand as I.
It's trembling.
Yeah, I take it.
It's trembling, but Randy, you guys are like this.
Yeah, totally.
And then she links her fingers with you.
He was a good man. He was a hard worker. One of ours. As I take a look at all the people. He deserved better than he got. But he's in a better place now. As I
nod,
eye contact with Tilius. He's in a better place. And the Lord Light, he's going to take care of him in a way that none of us could have. Go forth, be free, brother. And I'm gonna bow my head.
They all bow. And you hear a few of them mumbling, muttering, "Be free, be free." And Drusilla, his ptarmigant of a wife, is wiping away tears. Her sharp tongue is
Now I'm looking back at the rest of the group.
Okay.
We all have to leave here.
The rest of your family, Randy.
Yeah, and then anybody who's trickling in as well. Stuff like that.
I mean, at this point, you've got about 25 You've got about 25 people, most of them your family, but several other people as well.
My kin is going, and anyone of you who wish to come with us can. This man, this magistrate, he ain't care about you. He ain't care about none of us. So we go someplace who does care about us, who will take care of us, who came to our defense. This is the time to make a decision, folk. This is the time to be better than we are, and more than we are.
Fuck it, Marcus. I'm in.
My man.
Yeah, I'm in. And so you get your kin. You actually get 7 more people on top of that who come. Go back. Go back. Get the brats.
Get the brats.
Yeah.
All your brats, all your kin. We are one family now. We go.
And you start an exodus. One might even say a diaspora out of Pulex, up. You leave behind the stench of death, the dying embers of smoke, the magistrate's empty promises and false smiles. You're about to hit the pomerium of it, of Pollux. And the pomerium here, the sippy stone, that is C-I-P-P-I, guys, not sippy cup. The sippy.
It's like a giant
Spelling
sippy
wrong.
cup.
Yeah, it's a giant sippy cup.
Different thing in my head.
So maybe I should keep kippy. I don't know. I think it's sippy. The sippy stone there to denote the pomerium, the boundary, is just a very simple clay. Actually, a piece of clay. It's a crude teardrop that someone has stuck. You know that there's another one on the south end of it. Miraculously, it survived. This survived everything. You see as the day has worn on, you see the Harpesia circling. And you know that if you hadn't buried that body well, that opportunists, they're predators and scavengers. They're it's a weird mix. They're kind of I guess you'd call them an apex scavenger. So you buried the body carefully because you know that the Harpesias are intelligent and they watch. They know when you try to hide things, and so you have
Population
to make
89.
I'm actually
69.
current population
Or less than that, maybe.
Pollux is about. All right, so as you're making your way out, you hear from the wall, from inside of the keep. Fine, you just go on. You see how it is up there. No one's gonna take care of you the way that I do. No one's gonna have your back the way that I do.
I just turn my back and walk away.
Okay. My cousin is gonna hear about this.
As I'm passing the stone, I just lay my hand on it for a while because this has been my home forever.
For your life.
Yeah. Wow.
Take a moment to really absorb that.
Your wife touches it. Your brother touches it. Your sister, and they all just kind of instinctually, they stop. They file through. Most of the women and some of the men are weeping as you're leaving behind literally everything that you know, that you have put your blood, sometimes certainly your sweat, certainly your tears, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations. You are leaving home. For all of its faults, for all of its flaws, it's been good enough to see 20 of your kith and kin born and thrive. And you know in your bones, Marcus knows in his bones, that with the midwife gone and chief herbalist of the village, your wife, with yourself, and with several of the other leadership counted in there, the fate of Pollux is very much in doubt.
Do I quickly on the tracking? Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just want to find out if I can see signs of Kithki boats or if they've left.
Utini, you mean?
Yeah, Utini. Okay.
Yeah, no, there are no Kithki boat. None of your kith and kin are here.
The Utini boats.
You're not close enough. You're not close enough.
Oh, to even make it
is the answer? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you it is within your power. Do you want to detour?
I mean, I headed off to go see if they took off. I wanted to make sure they weren't going to come raid at night again.
Okay, so you're going to make a point. You're going to make a point.
That's why I left for kind of a mind track set.
Yeah, he begins at that scouting, and then when his family starts to arrive, the Decum is going to just kind of have them in a marching order to protect them on the sides.
Okay, Decury.
Decury.
See, a lot of terminology, guys. And I gotta be crisp on that enunciation for our poor people at home. This is gonna be hard enough for them to get it anyway. So,
is there forest line there as well?
No.
Okay.
No, they've done an admirable job of deforestation.
Yep.
Okay, I can answer that. There's another piece of information I want to see if you get. So go with advantage because this is one of your. These are your sworn enemies. Go ahead and make a tracking roll.
We have a 19.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
That's my tracking. Yeah, 24.
They look like they have departed in earnest, but I'll tell you this: you have never seen Utini behavior like this before. For 3 days and 3 nights, I'm just going to put this to you, and we've gamed through off camera. We've gamed through plenty of Utini mayhem. For 3 days and 3 nights, these creatures surrounded, besieged, from all accounts, the manor, and you know how physically powerful they are. With a horde of them, they would have had no problem beating the gate down.
Yeah, what happened?
That would have been down swiftly, and you know what they would have done to everybody inside. They were, for lack of a better word, and you need to roll very high. For lack of a better word, they were investigating.
That is unusual behavior.
That is unprecedented behavior.
It's investigating.
Utini style. So there were still slaughtered lambs. There were still a couple. Anybody who got too curious or was too slow within a certain radius got the tusk. But you go and from a distance, but you have to press it. You have to know, and you can feel the magistrate minor and his flunkies shrink in. I mean, he's been thrashed. If he had Dignitas, which he doesn't as a score, but if he did, it would be falling off a cliff right now. And yeah, you could just feel kind of his intent gone. You get a little closer to the manor than you would have. You can't be certain because you're not. You do not have proficiency with lockpicks.
I do not.
At the end of the day, okay. So you can't be certain. You don't know. I just wanted to confirm that because we went back and forth a bit on that. You'd have to have somebody with more knowledge than you, but it looks like they were even playing with the lock. Not smashing it in, playing with it.
So, yeah, like the tusk animals actually like considering even playing with a lock.
Yeah. I put my tusk in that, might open. Oh my God.
Right. That, honestly, Corey, from a tactical perspective, your character probably finds that more disturbing than anything else that you've seen since you've been here. Okay, and then you rejoin them.
Yep.
We will have to leave our faraway friend soon, so I will skip ahead a bit.
We have to wait for a lady and her father to come.
Oh, sorry, hon. I meant our out of character faraway friends.
Oh yeah.
So as our time draws short.
I don't know.
No, it's
Be mad at me.
It goes quick. Yeah, no. Let's not start the campaign with that. One sec.
Already avoided a battle. Boy.
Fair enough. We'll get to some of the can't think of the word right now. All right, it'll come to me. What? All right. No, dude. You're sticking with him. Okay. So you're kind of the odd woman out as you're wandering around. Are you gonna stay near to Katrin, or as you come out?
Sure. And I'd like to. I understand the feeling of leaving your home and
Yes,
all of
you
a
do.
sudden?
Yes, you do.
And just the shock of that, but also the excitement to go to a new place that's better. So I just lean in to these people, try to get to know them, and assure them that they're on the right track.
Okay. And we will leave, we'll nearly pause it there, and we will pick up with the Lady Vale catching up with you with a small group of other travelers. Thank you for spending your first outing with us, and on what is going to be an epic progression. Plenty more to come. And one of the pieces of ritual that I want to enact is go around the table just briefly, and each of you give me. They know this is coming, but I don't know what they're going to say. So just for people who are wondering, give me one thing that surprised, delighted, or moved you, or intrigued you. Anika, I'll start with you.
I think Merrick. A lot of what she saw tonight wasn't much, but what she did see is Merrick, and I think her relationship with him isn't there yet, but she sees him. I think that was so vulnerable, and she's really never seen him that vulnerable before, and she wants to help, but she doesn't know how. So to be continued.
From headbutting to appreciating vulnerability. All right.
She's growing up.
She's growing. So is Merrick, actually.
Wesa is really proud of Titus and how he's able to handle something so gracefully and powerfully, and is kind of amazed at how quick everything is happening, the loyalty and trust that he's already built, and the status he's maintained. So just impressed, like, yeah, pretty cool.
He isn't an idiot.
Yeah.
That negative one wisdom hits every now and again.
Pretty cool.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So there was a bunch. But mostly coming from a perspective of a 30-year-old man who's never had a lord or magistrate or anybody like that come to his aid, come to their aid, and immediately stand up against some of the most powerful people he's ever seen in his life. It was kind of one of those things that inspires like trust, immediate trust with him. And I was really grateful that he was there for us at this point. And it just amazed me that he would be there for he's Titus, of course, but it's never been seen, and it was kind of heady.
He was just some concept up in some northern place before to you.
And it was incredible physically watching it happen in front of me, when I see what a real leader looks like versus what someone who was appointed to a position they didn't even really earn. You know, that to me was why we trusted him immediately.
Well, like I said, you managed to avoid. Believe me, it was not for lack of trying. It was not for lack of what I wanted. You managed to avoid what was supposed to be the first combat. So again, well done.
I'd like to just add, I'm very, very delighted that I did not have to engage with Bassarit. What a treat.
Porcupine rat.
No,
I don't really want that on
I didn't even get my favorite with the forked lizard tongues, because that's how they scent the prey. I didn't even really get to yeah.
maybe not.
Waste is down for that. All right,
Stink.
Merrick.
Well, this was emotionally for me. Merrick trying to have to face down his demons, his nightmares, and not act. And he's if it wasn't for this man here, he would be going in seeing if Toes was alive still. He's really having a hard time leaving without knowing. And
Don't worry, I'm not finished with that.
that is. And he was looking, and he did not see a sign of her. That was the main one. And then just a quick second one was the advancement technology of Utini is really disturbing to him, and to be coming forward on that one.
I was really impressed with Corey as Merrick. Just 100% like emotion out on the sleeve. Because that in every prologue we've had, there's obviously I've been more aware of it, but to put that out to the group is awesome. And then also seeing Marcus like in an element of, yeah, that was supposed to be your leader, but you being the leader of all the people that actually look up to you and following you, and you being able to like kind of, that was huge. I thought that was very, very cool.
I want to say, Randy, I was really moved. I was starting to get choked up when you were healing Tortella. That was like, whew.
Yeah, it was.
You were choking up. You were getting me. You know, this was a chain reaction there. All right, so thank you for giving us the most valuable resource that there is in the world, which is time, the only non-renewable resource, and you spent it with us. I hope to see you again. I hope we all do. This is just the beginning of what's going to be a massive saga of these characters traveling to the north, defending their way of life, defending their freedom, hopefully learning about themselves, making some new allies, making some new enemies, and discovering the world that has been, even for the better travel characters, very small around them. For those of you, I'm going to see if we had any submitted questions, and if so, then myself, Corey, and Randy are going to stay behind, possibly potentially others, but at least that. And I will see you on the other side of this. Thank you so much for taking this first. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much for taking this first step of this journey.
And thank you to Angel.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Woo!
Susurration.
Jaw-jacking. Sip a stone.
Justin, will you cut us back in?
Epicene. What the hell?
What the heck?
I ruled. Live.
Oh,
And we're back.
Question.
Baby Toby,
not everyone.
thank you.
Sitting here with the chat right now. We haven't had any questions submitted yet, but if they
All right.
pop up, I will let you know about them.
All right. What's in that beautiful brain of yours?
I'm really just curious if, in brief, you'd be willing to talk a little bit about how this came to be.
Wow.
Came to be with it.
Ooh.
I will limit this because obviously that can go on. So the very short version, much like The Lie of the Wheat-Haired Man, like that short of a version of a description, is that because of you, this is actually your fault. It always goes back to you, Toby.
As it should.
I mean, clearly, as it should. And because of you, and you introduced me to the concept of broadcast role play, which the kids now call actual play, but I think of it as a broadcast. I'm kind of old over here, and I've been GMing for 38 years, and I can tell you that when I started, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, when I started GMing, this is not how business was done. So you introduced me to it, and after that long of a run, I was thinking, oh gosh, how would I approach that? And then that got out of my mouth and to his ears, and my sword brother, brilliant entrepreneur, got a hold of that and did not. I mean, it was, you want to talk about getting a tusking. He got a hold of it, and that is kind of, the rest is history. The other thing I'll add is that, and there'll be, some other forum to really go into this about, but that what the story that I thought I was going to tell, which was going to be something completely different from this, is not what emerged out of the layers. And I realized that once it was like day 2, after a series of events and kind of a bad day, I realized that the story that was going to be told was the story in allegory, and only in pieces and not completely, was going to be my story overseas, was also going to be the story of the people that I served with, and also, to the best of my very limited ability, the story of the Iraqi civilians and what I saw and what I experienced. And this incredible, table, this, just remarkably talented table I am humbled by how they have just gotten behind that vision, and we have driven forward. And 6 months. I mean, this is all happened in 6 months, which sounds like a lot of time. It's not. It's not, and we're not even done. We're still working for an animated intro. We're still the musical language is continuing to evolve. Brilliant music, Steve.
Steve rules.
Shout out to Steve Garns. Thank you very much.
Link in the chat.
Still
watching.
With our our Emmy nominated Steve. And he has motivated me every step of the way and held incredible space and grace for me. So that's the short version.
Wow.
Well said.
Yeah. Throughout, I've been fortunate to be blessed with being able to work in a space I love, which was business and technology. At the age of 23, I had to make a hard choice. My mom grew up, directed, was in theater, was in film, and I chose early on to not be a starving artist, to be honest, and to do the business and the technology. But this itch has been there for quite a while. The last 3 or 4 years, I've been in the non-fungible token space, non-NFT space, and learned a lot about the community. And one of the things that I like to do is give back, and one of the things I like to do is build things. My nature, me as Corey, likes to build, whether it's life coaching or otherwise. And I saw Angel here. Make it short. Writing books, brilliant writer. I've been playing with him for 15 years.
15 years now, yeah.
In all his games, brilliant, in depth from a vampire, political type of scenarios to just the depth of his characters and the worlds he builds, and the interaction of role play and game mechanics and just kind of the realism. To wanting to look at then Justin, same thing, getting back to art. And then we started bringing on other people, and we're like, wow, there's a whole slew of people that this could be a platform to allow them to launch and be visible in their art forms. And first it starts off with us at the Troupe, but we want to obviously expand that to our community and to our audience and to everyone to contribute. And a lot of what we're putting out there from the world lore, and you guys, you haven't even seen what's coming here.
Yeah. No,
the amount of music that's going to be coming out of here. Well, this volume track 1 is just the first of many down the line. And the first year we're going to have so much music. But the lore, and anyone can leverage this. We want to make it almost like an open source game world content. And we just think that we want to get back.
Nice. Fan art would be nice too. I love some fan art. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Get that in there.
Absolutely fan art. And the idea of fans even potentially submitting artwork that we haven't developed, and maybe we decide that we might want to use that. And and that contribution, really, world building from the community. It's just, I think it's a big thing, and so that's what motivates me, is to provide in this rough world right now in so many ways a little bit of light and a little bit of ability for people, great actors that have not been seen, to be able to be amplified and seen, and for the community to come along with us, and also to hopefully join us and contribute to the world.
Nice.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just in brief, a few minutes.
Okay.
Randy.
Fair enough. Well, I have known Angel since I was 20, and I'm 45 now. So we have gone on this incredible journey just over the years. And when I met, I was at a really important part in my life where I was still trying to discover who I was as a person and what I was about. And Angel had a profound impact on who I eventually became. And I lived out here for a good long time, for about 3 years, and I went home to California, but I've been always wanting to come back. And when Angel pitched the idea to me, it was kind of like one of those no-brainers. I'm just like, it literally took me about 5 minutes to decide on it. It was time to pick up stakes, leave California, and come home.
Like a scenario here.
Sorry. Yeah, kind of just like that, right?
Parallels. Yeah. Art.
California.
Art, life, art, life. You know.
And I have been following along for the last 6 or 7 months or so since you guys started this journey, and I decided to come out as well. And I've just been watching all of you play. And every time I did, I just was like, I want to be there right now. I got to be there right now. But things took time until here I am. And now I just can't imagine being in a group of players, and it's just as incredible as you all.
The fact that you moved half across the country, Randy.
Seriously, on a wing and a prayer, like nothing but, hey, I need some help.
And that's where I'm at right now.
We're very glad to have you.
I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tatiana?
Oh, we're all doing it.
Just a little. Just give us a little taste.
Just a taste.
Mine's easy.
Mine's easy.
I have known Angel now for 3 years. One of the first people that I met as I came to Austin, and was a wonderful bridge to help me land here and want to be here. And, you know, in May, I did a ceremony for myself, a marriage ceremony of commitment to me. Big moment for myself. And maybe a few days later, I was sharing with Angel, and he invited me into the game. Which I had no idea about. I have never
gamed before.
Before.
Nope. Nothing.
I have done a lot of acting and family constellation work and role playing in a different sense, but I came in quite fresh and doe-eyed, and it's been so fun to get to know this world and these people and what any of this even is, and
I can't wait I want to get deeper into all these characters, but your character especially, I want to just peel back the layers, and so I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Here I am.
Well said.
Here I am.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
Anika?
Anika, hello. I think how long have we been gaming together now? Is it 2 years now?
I think with this it's close to 2 years, but we met as players.
Yes. So I got invited by some friends to play at their table, and I had never done it before, but I had always wanted. I was late to the game. But I sat next to this beauty, and it was kind of like such an immediate thing where I was like, this is for me. This is what I want. And we immediately started just gaming together.
I thought that you were an old hand because you sat down. I thought you'd been gaming for years because you sat down and you just started immediately going back and forth with me. And I'm like, okay, all right, we're doing this. And
I was in it. I was ready.
We just went back and forth.
I was like, I've waited too long to be part of this. Yeah. And so it was just that immediate amazingness, and then I get a call from him while I'm getting pizza, and he's like, do you want to join? And I was like, yeah.
I don't even know what it is, but I want to.
I don't know what it is. He's like, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I'm in.
That's awesome.
And so here we are.
That's awesome.
And then I met all of you beautiful people.
Thank you for trusting me.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for writing a gorgeous story.
Well, we'll see if I have the skill and will to execute. But
You do. Get out of here. Shush. Don't anyone listen to him.
this
It's impressive.
a lot of story. There's a lot to do. Anyway, go.
Especially if I keep avoiding combat.
I know.
Cheated us.
Cheating us out of that, sugar high.
Nice.
Sugar high of violence.
500 characters. I wrote them all up. They never get used.
Never get used.
Oh,
Thanks, Titus.
All right.
We'll come back to a little bit more people.
Well, Titus.
Yeah, I when I first moved to Austin 2 years ago, Austin Casual Dungeons and Dragons Facebook group. The only reason why I started Facebook was because I wanted to meet new people that weren't at a bar. So shout out to Benjamin, Charlie, Whit, Ethan, Evan, Harrison, Kevin, Renee, Jacob, Alec, Trevor, Cameron, Josh, and Nathan. All the people that I met that were friends that were playing around the table at my house. And at other people's houses has been awesome. And then I saw this post for this game, and it was a description of exactly what this is. But it was on Facebook, and it was this. And
It was on Casual Gaming because somebody
Every
posted it
single
on
post
Casual
Posted on
Gaming.
Casual gaming. We're
Yes.
looking for somebody.
Yeah, if you were to read this as a blog post being like, would you be interested, you have to audition. And everybody comments like, this is a scam. They're looking for that. And I'm like, you know what? I would kick myself in the ass if I didn't just send a little email being like, hey, I just want to talk to you before I send a video of myself auditioning. And 4 hours on the phone later, hours and hours of prep work, getting to know each other, having a wonderful community like you guys. And it's just been, beautiful friendship.
Thank you.
Yeah.
His character had very tight parameters because he was a lord and he has tremendous power where he comes from. So Donnie had he really had to throw that needle, but I mean, obviously he's got the
Doing an
chops.
immaculate job.
Yeah, I got the
Getting
chops.
a lot of love in the chat.
Don't go to my head and gentlemen's
There's the head. Yeah.
Little boys and Pulex, go play with your rabbits.
And of course, we'll talk more in depth as the sessions go on. We have lots more to share, we have lots to explore, and we're just so thankful that we get to do this.
We are very thankful. We are very thankful that we get to do this.
And we're very thankful for anyone who wants to watch and come along this journey is with us too. It's super important.
Not all scams are scams.
That's right. I will say my former LARP friend, which Sam vouched for us on there, and that kind of helped.
Yeah. They got you one audition.
We will relitigate that at a later time. Thank you so much, Toby. Thank you for coming in here, and I know that you have a wee one to get back to.
I will be running out the door in a couple of minutes.
In fact, a dream feed, I believe.
That is the term.
Yes,
That's how we describe it.
Bonjour.
Thank you, darling.
Thank
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Hi guys.